in the mountains of Wyoming. Sean McElprang went out for a solo hike last Thursday, making his way towards Gannett Peak, the highest mountaintop in Wyoming. He hadn't been seen or heard from since. Our partners at First Alert 4 report that he's been found alive and conscious but very weak. The full extent of his injuries are not yet known. McElprang has worked at the Missouri Attorney General's office for the past 28 years. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources has announced their opening of the bus grant program for the 2026-27 school year. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has more.
The non-competitive grant is awarded on a first-come, first-served basis to qualified applicants. It is only available to Missouri schools and nonprofit organizations, including public school districts, private schools, charter schools, and youth-focused nonprofit organizations with 501c3 status. The DNR's Division of State Parks offers busing grants to underwrite the cost of field trips for schools pre-K through 12th grade and for nonprofits to connect youth with nature at Missouri state parks and historic sites. The deadline to apply for a grant is May 14, 2027. More information and a grant application are available at Missouri State Parks Bus Grant Program. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway announced a $17.1 billion settlement with Meta Platforms this morning. It becomes one of the largest state consumer protection settlements in history. Missouri joins dozens of other states in requiring Facebook and Instagram to place a hard cap on access for children under the age of 18, nighttime blocks from 12 to 6 a.m., and robust age verification measures to more effectively verify the age of young users. Under the settlement, Missouri is said to receive between $100 and $150 million. Actor Jeff Goldblum is coming to town. Goldblum will join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra on vocals and piano for an October 18th jazz performance. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Costco is planning for a new store in Lake St. Louis. The retailer announced it has purchased land along the 4,000 block of Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's no word on an official opening date. This will mark Costco's 6th location in the St. Louis area. And now let's take a look at the markets presented by JBL Financial. Tune in for Straight Talk on Retirement Saturdays from 9 until 11 here on the Big 550. And at the close, the Dow down 113 points at 53,463. S&P 500 down a point at 76.75. And the NASDAQ down 21 at 26,130. Now let's head on over to the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk. That's where we find the good captain himself, Paul Kopsky. He is standing by. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Brendan. The SEC and Big Ten have announced that athletes having previously joined pro leagues are not eligible to return to college athletics. This also applies to underclassmen that didn't remove their name from the draft process. And the Cardinals send Michael McGreevy to the mound tonight against the Orioles at Busch, looking to snap a 4-game losing skid. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. An accident on 270 South north of Manchester is blocking the 2 left lanes and causing a stop-and-go back up to Ladue Road. There's a crash on the 64 East exit ramp to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and 64 West is crowded in front of Forest Park. This traffic report is brought to you by Beatty Roofing. St. Louis weather can wreak havoc on your roof. With over 70 years of experience, Beatty Roofing provides smart project management to deliver commercial and residential projects on schedule, on budget, and done right. Call 314-892-1331, online at baderoofing.com. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, thank you, Paul. We're keeping an eye on the possibility of some storms, mainly in the Metro East. We've told you about that for much of the day. We're starting to see just a little bit development now over in Illinois. Very spotty, more organized as you head your way up towards Springfield, Illinois, but we're keeping an eye on it. Otherwise, warm temperatures continue this afternoon. We're topping out in the low 90s tonight. Any rain moves out. Clear skies, comfortable low of 68. Tomorrow will be cooler than today, a high of just 85. At 3:08, we have sunny skies and 91 degrees at Westport Plaza. For the Talk of St. Louis, I'm Brendan Wiese on the Big 550 KTRS.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
Stay connected with the Big 550 KTRS, streaming 24/7 online at KTRS.com or on the KTRS app. Powered by JBL Financial. Stream Straight Talk on Retirement every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
What have we learned about Heidi?
But cockroaches were the least of her problems. Heidi had to fight for every opportunity.
You know, Heidi is, even though she's very kind of sweet and innocent,
Heidi wanted out of the slum, and her agent wasn't doing enough.
Oh my God, they moved Heidi right next to me now.
Although Heidi seems serene,
she's a bit naughty.
she uses an ancient folk remedy to help calm her down.
Heidi is back.
Well, here we are again. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Heidi Glaus here with Josh Gilbert, Bob Ramsey, and we have got a pretty fantastic show put together. At least I think so. Hopefully you will too. First up, Dr. Ravi Johar is going to join us, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but inflammation has been in the news a lot. And, you know, there's a lot being said about the GLP-1s helping with inflammation, but I saw one article that the headline was, inflammation keeps us alive. It's also making us sick. So Dr. Johar is going to kind of break down what exactly is inflammation good for, how do we know when it is bad, and how do we manage all of it?
Yeah, that'll be interesting because I understand too much really puts a stress on your body.
The entire system. And there's so many times that, you know, when you have other things, other diseases, that they say, well, maybe the root cause is the inflammation.
Right.
So that's what we're going to talk about here in about 20 minutes. We'll also check in with Mike Dubusky, ABC's tech reporter. And it looks like Meta, who, of course, is the overreaching partner there of Facebook, has agreed to settle out of court for $17 billion. I saw something right before we came in about what that means for Missouri. And that was a pretty big number that our state will be getting. So we'll talk to Mike about that. In the 4 o'clock, Lauren Risley will join us. You know, yesterday we were debating what we have on our counter. Should you leave things out? Should you put them up? So Lauren will join us with a couple of ideas. Plus, we'll talk about open floor plans. There for a while, it was all the rage, just completely open. And then I think we went back to kind of closing rooms off and making them separate. But we'll find out what is in and what's out now. We'll also check in with Alex Capariello. He's a national correspondent with News Nation. He is at Dollywood. And, of course, the world is mourning Dolly Parton. We'll see what's being done there. What are people saying? I know the family is planning a private service, but do we have any idea what that looks like? Do we know who's going to perform? That's coming up a little later in the 4 o'clock. We'll also check in with Ben Siegel. He's the ABC News deputy political director, and a lot of primaries are wrapping up. Where does all of that stand? And then that crazy Alaskan race where there's two guys running against each other with the exact same name. You really would have to do your due diligence if you're voting there.
Have you guys ever run into anybody with your exact name?
No.
Heidi, Glaus, Bob Ramsey.
There's a couple Robert Ramseys floating around the metro area. I don't think I've met any of them.
Yeah.
I don't think. Maybe at one point, but there's a few.
I was in a bowling league at Dick Weber Lanes when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 2 years younger than me. Same league, though. There was a Josh Gilbert
Oh, that could be confusing.
with an S instead of a T on the end.
Well, in our parish, there's a Ron Ramspot who claims to be the original rammer, and so we have an ongoing
Okay.
debate.
That's very interesting.
Josh Gilbert and Ron Ramspot.
I wonder what is the most common name in America, like John Williams, John Smith. What do you think is
it's
the
gotta
name?
be
Gotta be John Smith, doesn't it?
right?
Which is actually my grandpa's name.
There you go.
Ah,
Except he went by Jack, but a lot of Johns go by Jack.
if I did the world, it would be,
Something Chinese.
Right.
or like Mohammed something.
Oh, yeah, it would be. That's right. I think that is number one, actually.
Maybe Mike Smith or Mike Johnson.
Yeah, that could be.
This isn't, Google AI is not pulling up what I want it to. Let me switch over here. I'll get there. You guys keep talking.
Okay.
James Smith and Maria Garcia
Are the most popular
are
names?
In
two
America?
very popular names
Huh.
in America.
Okay. Very interesting. I have a question for you guys, and it might sound like a pet peeve. Maybe it is.
Uh-oh.
I would like to know why, if you are at a red light and you are turning right,
Okay.
and there's no sign that says no
No right on
right on red,
Why won't you go?
why won't you go? What are you waiting on?
Well, you're on your phone.
Ugh. Okay. Do you, if you're behind that person, give them a little beep, beep?
Now, we can debate and get into the weeds on what's in a reasonable amount of time with no cross traffic.
Yeah.
What's a reasonable amount of time to understand they're not going to go? So I'm going to say
Well, and sometimes they don't have on their blinker, so you think they're going to go straight.
that's the other
And
thing.
that one really infuriates you.
if they don't have the blinker on, and then they go ahead and turn later. But let's say we're at a red light, they've got a blinker on, they've indicated they're going to turn.
Yes.
I think between 3.5 and 6 seconds.
It's time to give them a little.
If you go all the way to 6 seconds,
No, 6 seconds is a long time.
that's what I'm saying. It's a long time. But I think somewhere in that range, just a beep.
Yeah,
light?
not a long.
No, just a
but
beep.
a
Hey,
beep, beep.
hey, you can go.
Yeah, just
you know,
a reminder.
hey, friend.
6 seconds, that light might have changed twice by then.
Not in my neighborhood.
No, not where I'm.
But yeah, you're right. 6 might be long. 3.5 to 5.5.
What about this? You pull up to try to pull into traffic, and there's someone in front of you. They're turning left. You have to wait. But clearly, there's enough room between the oncoming traffic that this person could have gone, and they're still just sitting there. You ever run into that?
Oh, yeah.
You
Well-
ever been honked at when you're the lead car?
No, because I go, baby.
Oh, you do?
Because I think we
You
have
like to thread the needle
we have a responsibility to the people behind us.
to keep things
They're
moving.
trying to get through the light too. Now, here's my overarching sort of philosophy. You have to look out for number one. The problem with most Americans is we have no number 2 through 100. It's only one.
Yeah.
Got to look out for number one, but then look out for number 2 and 3 and 4. And I think there's a responsibility to get through the light or the four-way stop with alacrity and say, hey, I got to make sure you get through too, brother.
Oh, I like that. And you live this principle.
I try to. We all make mistakes. I do too, every day. But that's, I don't want to dawdle because there's 5 guys behind me.
Yeah. That you could be the person holding that one up. Somebody said, are we all in that much of a hurry that 6 to 10 seconds is going to make a difference in our life? No.
But what if you're the 6th car and you don't get to go?
Right.
That's my point.
I'm going to say in the city, seems like everybody's going regardless of if that light has turned red. What annoys me, somebody says on the text line, red lights is when someone parks almost a full car length behind the white line. A lot of the time, that signal will not even pick up that someone has stopped waiting for the light to change. Yeah, that is annoying too.
Good point.
Somebody said, or how about you're driving behind someone that is going real slow and you can't get around them and they keep turning where you're turning, LOL.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
you can't do anything about
Not
that.
your day, sister.
Infuriating is dedicated right lane turn with no merge and people still stop and wait for traffic. That's true, too. Yeah, there are a lot of those traffic things. But this happened to me this morning, and I'm like, that really,
you just got to keep it a happy beep.
Yes, a happy beep.
Hey, partner,
yes.
You can go.
Mm-hmm.
A happy beep. All right, you guys are, I think I know the answer to this, but please be honest.
Okay.
And on the text line, you can jump in as well, 84126. You can call us, 314-931-5877, 314-931-KTRS. Do you yell at people in your car? Are you guys yellers? Yes. Okay. And Heidi, I've ridden in the car with you. You've never yelled.
I don't yell. I think I grunt. Oh! Like, what are you...
I think it's more. I think if you're sitting in the car, you hear me, but it's not like I'm shouting out the window, "Hey, Buster!"
I take that back. I especially in the RV when somebody cuts me off, I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, you have no idea how big this machine is, and I can't stop." And you just
can't stop on a dime like you're an MG.
right in front of me.
That your wives, both of your wives, listen to this show. Please text me. 84126. Do they yell at people while they're driving?
I will say Marcia yells probably more than I do if
From the
somebody cuts
passenger
us
seat.
off. And then I have to kind of hold all of her hands back because I'm like, don't be doing anything. You don't know who has a gun. You don't know what. No, we're not doing that. Somebody says, yeah, I yell. Four-way stop and people wanting me to complete my stop before going. How dare they? Yeah, that is true. A lot of people don't make that complete
it was
stop
funny.
these
Four-way
days.
stop right by my house. Everybody, it's pretty crowded. Everybody's taking turns. One guy going straight. This is the street across from me. One guy's going straight. The other guy's going to turn left. The guy turning left was there well ahead. You keep an eye and you know whose turn it is, just like kindergarten, right? You know whose turn it is. The guy went to turn left, and then the guy across from him shot through. And the guy in the pickup truck, he gave him a sarcastic thumbs up out the window.
That's a good
one.
one.
And he came by, and he and I exchanged wry smiles as he drove on by.
That connection.
Oh, the wry smile. I told you guys there was a truck in front of me, and I ended up running a red light because I didn't know. You know, he's turning left.
Oh, you can't see the light.
And I felt like, I'll just go with him.
Whoops.
And then Finn said, you just ran a red light.
Oh, yeah. When you have that kid in the car, they will call you out all the time.
I want to see you do what I did with my youngest for years. I've told you this story before. If somebody was annoying us and I finally got around him, so he's on the passenger side, either front or back, depending on his age, I would say, Brendan, stink eye. And he'd make a face at him out the window.
I'm going to teach Finn how to shake his fist at somebody.
Give him the stink eye. What are they going to do? It's a kid. It's a little kid.
So the other day going to school, it was all backed up, but the turn lane was wide open. And so I said, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And I rode the turn lane all the way up. And, you know, that's where I was going anyway. But do you guys, is that wrong? Is that bad to ride the turn lane?
You didn't affect anybody else negatively.
I'm not jumping back in line.
No.
I'm in the turn lane.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to drive in the turn lane.
I think an officer might ask you not to do that, but I think it's okay in the reality of traffic congestion.
Well, Finn seemed to think it was a first capital offense and started screaming at me that we were going to get arrested.
Judge Finn.
Yeah. You know, for being 5.5 years old, he seems to have a pretty good handle on the law.
Wait till he knows what the speed limit is and can see your speedometer.
He has asked me how fast you go. Don't worry about it. I need to know from the streets department, though. If somebody's working with the streets department right now, or maybe there's a mental floss article out there about this, how do stoplights actually work?
I think there's a couple of different ways they work. I don't think they're all the same.
Weight sensors? Are there cameras?
We should get somebody to break that down. That's interesting.
Is it timed?
Yeah.
Does it matter if I pull up to the white line? Because it's just going to be timed anyway. It seems sometimes you go to a stoplight, there's no rhyme or reason. And have you ever sat at a light and you've gone through the whole cycle and your light never came up?
It's like, well, talk about slow burn.
Yeah,
Why are they
really
going again?
not fair.
That's a yell.
Yeah.
John Eaton said, when I win the big lottery, I'm just going to start bumping people to get them moving. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris the Courier said, I deal with these issues all day, every day. People are just in their own little world.
Most people are thoughtless, but it's not intentional.
Yes.
Their brain is somewhere. I got to get to work. I got to pick up the kid. Oh, my bills are late. Whatever. And they're caught in their own head instead of focusing on the road. And we all have done it at some time.
Absolutely. I think we're all guilty.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat. But it is when you're just sitting there and paying attention and someone doesn't go, you're like, come on, dude. Yeah. Somebody said sometimes the vehicle behind me has a better view of oncoming traffic because his vehicle is taller. I can feel the impatience when I hesitate, but want to be able to see where I'm going.
Of course. You're
for
right.
sure you want to be safe.
And that is an issue.
And
you're right.
I will tell you, I have started, if I am the first one in line, I do take a beat before, like, it turns green, look again, and go, because
Oh, you don't want to pull out.
that's exactly what happened to me when we got T-boned. Like, my light had just turned green. I pulled out, and the car was running a red light and got nailed.
And city drivers.
When I'm paying attention like I'm supposed to, I'm looking both ways as I know the light is turning green. I'll try and go through as soon as it's green, but I'm watching, and if anybody looks suspect, then I'll hold.
All right. Josh, I saw you answering a phone over there. Who do we have?
Well, Vincent claims he knows how stoplights work.
Okay. Vincent, what's your background with stoplights?
Well, I worked for a county traffic department for 20 years.
Oh,
Wow,
good.
okay.
And there's basically 3 systems, unless it's changed. I've been retired for 7 years, but they have wire in the ground. That's what the county prefers. It's called loops, and they're metal detection. When the car stops over it, a signal is sent to the control box, and that's how it controls who gets the lights and how fast and everything.
Okay, hang on.
Very interesting.
Does it matter if we pull up to the white line, or will it know us if we're back off the line a ways?
No. We usually put in at least one box, which is 20 foot by 6 foot wide in each lane.
All right.
But sometimes we'll back that up with another box of wire.
So unless you're way far away from the white line,
turning.
It knows you're there.
It knows you're there.
Okay.
And MoDOT prefers cameras. And if you look up at a signal, each lane has its own signal. I don't know if you ever noticed that. But each lane has its own signal, and there should be MoDOT likes to put cameras up next to the light itself, up on the mast arm.
I thought that was to catch us if we run the red light, not to trigger
No,
it.
that's for traffic control.
Interesting.
Okay, so cameras,
Traffic control. Yeah.
wiring, and then you said 3. What's the third one?
The other one is called hockey pucks, and they look like a hockey puck, and they're wireless. They're buried in the ground a couple inches in the lane, and there's a little what they call an access point somewhere up on the mast arm, like a little screen. It picks up the signal. I don't know. The county did put one of those in a bike lane on Y down at Big Bend, in the bike lanes on Y down at Big Bend. So I don't know if, and I really don't know much about them if they detect metal or density, because most bikes now are plastic. So I'm not sure if that worked. But the city itself, St. Louis City, where I live, does not seem to like traffic control that way. I've seen where it was installed by a private contractor, and then they disabled it a couple weeks later. So,
Well, very interesting. Vincent, thank you so much for calling in and explaining that to us. We really appreciate it.
I enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Somebody said I ride a motorcycle. Many times it won't trip the sensors. And then going back, Josh, talking about having kids in the car, our 8-year-old grandson told his parents, Pawpaw drives like a crazy person after Pawpaw took home from a game, and he's right. And he yells, now Pawpaw's not allowed to drive any of the 4 grandkids.
Yeah, he yells and he drives like a bat out of hell.
Calm down, Pawpaw. All right, it's 3:29. Let's check in, see how traffic's moving on the roads around St. Louis. And we go to the John Bill Roofing Traffic Center and Captain Paul.
Heidi, an accident on 270 south north of Manchester is blocking the 2 left lanes and causing a bumper-to-bumper jam all the way back to Olive. There's a crash on the 64 East exit ramp to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and 64 West is crowded from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker. It's stop and go from Prospect to I-70. This traffic report is brought to you by John Beal Roofing. John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. Get started today for expert service and a free no-obligation estimate online at johnbealroofing.com. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
I wonder how the first stoplights worked. You know, was it, did they just go green, yellow, black?
Arms that would come down.
So, technology is constantly changing. We talk about AI all the time, and just imagine how it has affected the medical world, hospitals and surgeries and everything. If you go into a museum and you see some of those old ways that they maybe pulled a tooth or, fixed a bullet hole, I think we're all happy that we're living in 2026. And that's the case, too, when it comes to a sick kid, because there are so many options these days to get your child back on the right path. And Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, they're at the forefront of all of that. They're constantly upgrading, not just the hospital itself. I mean, the new hospital is going up and it looks absolutely stunning. It's going to have all kinds of state-of-the-art equipment, but programs and services. Also, it's just so important that they make sure that the families understand that they're in those great hands and that the Cardinal Glennon family is taking care of not just the child, but they're making sure mom and dad feel safe. They're making sure that grandma and grandpa know what is going on. And that's what truly makes Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital special. I know when my cousin was there with my godchild for 9 weeks, I mean, she really felt like she was constantly surrounded by love and was always being informed of what's happening next. No question was left unanswered. And I think that's definitely what parents need in that situation. You can learn more about all the great things that Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital is doing and maybe make a little difference by donating to the Cardinal Glennon Children's Foundation. That's at glennon.org.
How do you separate estate planning from elder law? You don't, because they're so intertwined. Let's face it, we're all getting older, and you need to make these decisions today, whether it's for your parents, for yourself, or for future generations. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, and Caroline Stolzer, and now it's Matthew Furr, have been navigating these important decisions for more than 50 years. Beck, Lennox, Stolzer, Estate Planning, and Elder Law. Call them, 636-946-7899 or beckelderlaw.com. You can thank me later.
How would you like your vehicle serviced at your own home or office? Our new Mobile Service Plus, available exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac, can do just that. Hi, this is Joe Clemens. Simply give us a call or go to our website and get a unit dispatched right to your doorstep. This is a game changer for customer service, and we are so happy to offer it to you. Everything from oil changes, belts, new tires, tire rotation, recalls, key fobs, brake pads and rotors, EV charge, battery replacement, air conditioning service, and so much more. St. Paul's Mobile Service Plus will come to you. Call our mobile dispatch at 636-931-0055. That's 636-931-0055. Or go to our website at stpaulcadillac.com and set up an appointment. It's that simple. Get door-to-door service with St. Paul's new Mobile Service Plus. Nothing could be easier. Set up your appointment today. That's Mobile Service Plus, exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac at the Herculaneum Auto Mall exit.
My college roommate said to me recently, everyone needs a good electrician on speed dial. And you know what? He's right. ever since Michael Baldy has started advertising on the show. You know what? He's been out to the house 4, 5, 6 different times to fix all sorts of things. Good thing I got Michael Baldy on speed dial, because those things are a hazard. And it's one thing, you know how much I like to pretend to think that I'm a home improvement guy. I'll mess with plumbing and I'll mess with woodworking, but there's something I won't mess with, and that's electricity. It's too dangerous. It's too confusing, quite frankly. I know how to plug in a light bulb, but after that, it's baldyelectric.com. So for all of your electrical needs, residential, commercial, indoor, outdoor, TVs, computers, technology, baldyelectric.com. It's the place to go. You need a good electrician on speed dial. That's Michael Baldy, or baldyelectric.com.
Building a home is always a good investment. There's no better way to achieve that perfect floor plan, designer finishes, and state-of-the-art performance. And if quality and personal service matters to you, choose Fisher & Fritchel Homes. Fisher & Fritchel is building carefree villas, family homes, and luxurious estates in sought-after, amenity-packed communities in O'Fallon, St. Peters, Wentzville, Manchester, Wildwood, and glorious St. Albans. No time to build? Check out our selection of move-in ready homes. Visit fandfhomes.com for a map of locations. That's fandfhomes.com.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust, and that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli is a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with the mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
Gelmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Gelmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. No pills gonna cure my ill. I got a bad case of loving you.
I mentioned I saw this article titled "Inflammation Keeps Us Alive. It's also making us sick." So Dr. Ravi Johar, Chief Medical Officer with United Healthcare Missouri and Illinois, is back to help us understand. Thanks for making time for us.
Absolutely. Happy to be with you.
So let's start with the basics. I think inflammation, and I kind of think swelling. What is inflammation?
Right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about inflammation. There's a number of different kinds, and I think that's where people get mixed up a little bit, or where it causes all the confusion, especially with the inflammation is good, but inflammation is bad. So let's say, for example, you cut your hand while you're washing dishes. You know, we got all the little stuff that was on the dishes in there, and that little cut in the skin, now bacteria get inside the skin. Well, the body suddenly recognizes that, hey, there's something in here that shouldn't be, and it starts sending out messages to the rest of the body saying, we need blood, we need, white blood cells. We need something to happen here. We got an invader. So then you start getting the vessels dilate. You get lots more blood, fluid, and immune cells that come to that area. And that's the hallmark of inflammation. You get swelling, redness, heat, pain, and then some tenderness around where that area is all inflamed. Well, the bacteria, all the white blood cells get in there. They do the job. They get rid of the bacteria. They start healing. Everything goes away. And within a couple weeks, or a couple of days, everything's back to normal. That's good inflammation.
Okay.
But if something doesn't tell the body to stop doing that, it keeps sending more and more blood cells. It keeps doing something. That's bad inflammation. So an easy way to think of an analogy is, think about you have a fire at home. You call the fire department sends the fire truck comes in and puts off fire. But what if it never gets the signal to stop? So instead of just putting out the fire, it just keeps pumping water in. Eventually, that house is going to have problems and collapse.
Got it.
And that's exactly what's happening between the good inflammation, which we need to heal ourselves. I mean, you scrape your arm, things happen all the time. The body needs to heal itself from that, to where it can become a problem down the road.
So there's acute and there's chronic. How are those different? Acute goes away?
Exactly. Acute inflammation is what we talked about with a knife cut or something like that. Chronic inflammation is the one that continues. Now, chronic inflammation is the one that is people are talking about now. It's becoming an issue. And it's associated with a number of different diseases. You'd be surprised by it. I mean, the easiest one to think of inflammatory bowel disease. Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and inflammation's in the name. But it's associated with heart attacks and cardiovascular disease. It's associated with diabetes, Alzheimer's and dementias, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, asthma. It's related to a lot of these different things. And there's a lot of research going on now trying to understand why and how and what people can do to kind of help control some of these inflammatory issues.
Doc, everybody's pushing supplements, and I'd say most of it has terrific benefits depending on what it is and if you're using it properly. Is there something we can do on a daily basis to fight that kind of inflammation?
Absolutely. I mean, we know if we look back to what we know triggers inflammation and problems, the number one thing is excess body fat, especially around the abdomen. We know that tissue actually produces what's called inflammatory cytokines. And those ones are something that can actually be measured. And if you have an increased amount of those, that can lead to low-grade systemic inflammation throughout your body. So that's one. Highly processed foods, especially refined carbohydrates, those are really big about being a trigger for inflammatory disease, as is physical inactivity, smoking, air pollution, and, of course, our old friend chronic stress. The other thing that we really know is involved with inflammation is aging. We know that as we age, there's a lot of cells that die off as normal life cycle. So cells grow and then they die. But those dead cells can accumulate as you get older. And those release inflammatory molecules also. So just aging can also increase your risks of inflammatory issues.
Is this the same as like when we measure visceral fat? That's inflammation, or that's completely different? That's actual fat?
Well, visceral fat is just the fat that we think of as fat. That's going around the body, especially around the abdomen. That's called visceral fat.
Okay.
And the visceral fat itself isn't inflammatory, but it does produce cytokines, which causes the inflammation. Now, getting back to your question about what can decrease, things you can do to reduce inflammation, is you should go after those things that cause it. So obviously weight loss, especially if you can reduce visceral fat, exercise, a diet that's high in the Mediterranean-style diet is the best because it doesn't have the processed foods in it, stopping smoking, sleep, and then control of diabetes, hypertension, and anything. If anyone has metabolic syndrome, those metabolic diseases are really bad for this.
You know, I'm on a GLP-1, and I've read it's great to reduce inflammation, and it feels like, at least in my knee, where I had like some swelling occasionally because I had an ACL repair years ago, is GLP-1, are those really helping?
Some of the studies are showing that there is a real benefit from the GLP-1s. There's also a benefit from statins that a lot of folks are on for cholesterol and things. So statins help. And there's even a medication called colchicine, which has been shown to be helpful. So a lot of these different therapies are helping.
They give me colchicine for my gout toes when those flare up. I'm with one of the texters.
Very sexy.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Well, I'm not planning on taking you guys to dinner. Somebody on the text
toe's
line
sticking out, I don't want to go.
Asked the same question I have. What about ibuprofen? What about Tylenol? What about naproxen? The Aleve of the world.
Those are excellent for acute inflammation, and that's where you use it. So it's really good for that, but not for long term. Even when you read all those, they say, use short-term use. Don't you take more than, 2,400 milligrams of ibuprofen a day, things of that sort. But you're only going to do that even just for a short time period. If you continue, then there's side effects and risks with being on those on a chronic basis.
When do we know when inflammation is an issue? Is it painful? Like, how do we get ahead of it?
Well, I think for, acute inflammation, which is what people notice, those are the ones you expect anything like that to heal up within a couple weeks max. If you've got something that's still red, hot, bothering you for more than 2 weeks, that's definitely something to go get checked out, and maybe even earlier if nothing responding at all. So that's probably the biggest thing. Now, the acute inflammation is what people can notice. The chronic inflammation is probably one that you're not going to notice. There are some lab tests that can be done if you do have a lot of problems. And I think it's worthwhile getting things checked out if you have lots of chronic diseases or chronic problems that you're just like, why does this keep happening to me? It may be worthwhile to go get it looked at.
Yeah. Anything else we need to know about inflammation?
There's a lot that we're learning about it, and whatever we talk about today will probably be, obsolete within the next year or two as we learn more and more about it. It's something that was, very surprising to researchers to find out that heart attacks have inflammation in it in addition to the plaque buildup. The thought now is that those plaques actually have inflammatory cells within them, and that inflammatory cells causes the plaque walls to be weaker, and that causes the plaques to rupture, and that's what leads to the heart attack. So there's a whole new thought about what's going on with heart disease now, too, because of the inflammatory
So if we can get on top of inflammation, we really have a better shot at being healthy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think inflammation is something that is becoming one of the new frontiers of people looking at it. The problem is, just like Bob's mentioned, that there's a lot of things out there that are trying to capitalize on. Anytime there's a lot of fear, concern, or new knowledge, people try to take advantage of it. I think it's important to really know if you've got something going on.
Yeah.
But, before you start jumping on any kind of treatments for it. But the first thing is the things we just talked about are just the common sense things that we all want to do or should do and don't like to do a lot, which is, the sleep, the diet, things of that sort. So I think if we all start doing that first and then see if you've got a problem with chronic inflammation, get treated for that, is the best way to go.
Dr. Johar, somebody has a question saying, please ask the doctor about autoimmune inflammation.
Again, autoimmune is a disease that we're trying to learn a lot about. It activates the immune system, and the inflammatory system and the immune system are very closely linked. So inflammation is a response of the immune system.
Is that like
there's a definite correlation there.
Is it like rheumatoid arthritis?
Absolutely. That is considered an inflammatory disease.
Huh.
Definitely.
Well, it looks like maybe good news is going to be on the horizon for a lot of people who've been suffering from inflammation. Dr. Johar, always great to have you on with us.
It's my pleasure.
It's Julie Buck for my friends at Capital Advisory Group. Jeff Zufall is the senior tax strategist and wealth advisor at Capital Advisory Group. #1 best-selling books, I might add, and it's all about taxes. Keep what's yours and keeping what's yours. We celebrate our nation's 250 years of independence. Small business owners understand the freedom and the independence that comes from owning your own business. And Jeff Zufall and his team at Capital Advisory Group are celebrating 50 years, helping small businesses maintain their independence by minimizing the financial risk to their business, reducing their tax liability, and growing their wealth with strategic tax planning. If you're relying on investment advice from someone who isn't familiar and feel you might be paying more than your fair share of taxes, then call Jeff and his team. They can help you. Here's the number. It's 636-394-5524, 636-394-5524, or go to their website. It's capitaladvisorygrp.com.
As we enter into the summer months, you might be thinking windows and doors. Yeah, and where are you going to go? You have lots of options when it comes to windows and doors. Let me tell you about a St. Louis company that everybody should know about. It's called WSWindow.net. It's run by Larry Thornton and his son, Joe. And they've been selling windows and doors in St. Louis for 38 years. They do most of their work with a handshake and a smile. There is no high-pressure sales. There is no jacking up the prices and then try and bring you down as they demand some type of signature on the dotted line. They'll shake your hand and say, we hope to hear from you. And they have been successful. They've beat the big boys at their games for all these many years because they do it right. They have long-time installers, long-time employees. The Window Store. If you need windows, if you need doors, you want a great price, and you want to keep it in the St. Louis family. That's Larry and Joe Thornton. The Window Store. WSWindow.net. wswindow.net.
It's Julie Buck, and I wanted to pop on here just to give my friends at Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital some love. You know, healing goes beyond medicine. The hospital is built on a simple but powerful philosophy. Play helps children heal. Through their Care Beyond the Bedside model, kids are encouraged to leave their hospital rooms, play, explore, and simply be kids while they recover. To support Rankin Jordan's work, donate at rankinjordanfoundation.org and join us for the Beyond Gala on September 26th.
Home loan rates are changing daily. If you're in the market for a new home, you may be able to get a better rate than you think. The First Community Members Best Loan is available for qualified borrowers for just 6.016 APR with a 30-year term. And while some loan rates are subject to change daily, the Members Best Home Loan is available right now at that rate. So check it out at firstcommunity.com or call toll-free 1-888-642-7969 for complete terms and conditions.
When you go to the dentist, you actually want to be seen by the dentist. When you go to Dr. Bowen, his bedside manner is right there. That's why he's been dubbed Dr. Velvet Hands, with its teeth whitening, teeth cleaning, Invisalign, and yes, dental implants. When you go to corporate dentists, you meet with the finance person. Not at Dr. Bowen. You're meeting with the dentist himself, who can help you every single step of the way. So for all of your dental needs, including implants, Dr. Bowen. 2 locations in South County and in North County. Bowen Dental Care, or simply securedentures.com.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
It is 10 minutes before 4 o'clock. Captain Paul, how's traffic?
Well, Heidi, we have an accident on 70 East at Adelaide with stop-and-go traffic back to Shreve. 270 South is heavy from Olive down to Doherty Ferry after an earlier crash. 64 West is crowded from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker. It also slows down at Lake St. Louis Boulevard and is stop-and-go from Prospect to I-70. And 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Come From Away, which runs September 18th through October 18th. Based on a true story, Come From Away shares the incredible events of 9/11 in the small town of Gander, Newfoundland. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, earlier today, Meta agreed to pay $17 billion and add stronger child safety measures to its Facebook and Instagram platforms. Mike Dubusky, ABC News tech reporter, joins us with the latest. Is this a big deal? I mean, Meta has settled. So what would have happened if it had they not?
Well, they would have continued to fight this case in Oakland, California, and it would come on the heels of them losing several similar cases in New Mexico and in California. So seems like Meta was starting to see the writing on the wall here, that things were not going their way when dealing with questions about whether features baked into Facebook and Instagram were designed to be intentionally addictive. In settling this case with this bipartisan coalition of 52 attorneys general, the tech giant has agreed to pay $18 billion in installments over the course of the next 10 years. And this is a small amount of money for Meta, right? Meta is a nearly $1 trillion company. In fact, some of the attorneys general who are not agreeing to this settlement, who do want to continue to take Meta to court, among them Florida, New Mexico, and Texas, say this basically amounts to a slap on the wrist. But there's some interesting nuance here with that $18 billion number. Well, $5.3 billion of that is contingent upon Meta getting other companies, namely YouTube and TikTok, to agree to implementing similar changes to Meta on their platform. And some of these changes, just to go into them, a daily time limit of 2 hours for people who are under 18 that can only be lifted by that person's parent. Meta will also stop displaying the numbers of likes or reactions that a post gets for younger users. And young people will have the option to get a non-personalized feed, which won't use an algorithm to target them with content aimed at keeping them endlessly scrolling. So yeah, it's not a ton of money for Meta. It's a ton of money for you or I, certainly. But, for a $1 trillion company nearly, it is, kind of pocket change really at the end of the day. I think the bigger lingering effects here is going to be how they are changing their platform and what that's going to do to their ad revenue, because that's where they really make all their money.
I did see that Missouri will receive between $100 million and $150 million as part of this landmark deal. Will our state actually see that money?
Yeah, so the idea here is that this is going to go back to the states, and those states can use those funds for, really a variety of things, social media, kind of hygiene awareness, best practices as it applies to, using social media for young people, education platforms for young people and their parents, and so on and so forth. It sort of remains to be seen exactly what the states will want to do with this payout. And of course, there are several states who are, still trying to take Meta to court here. So, it's still very much a work in progress. And we should also say that a judge still needs to sign off on this particular settlement before it goes into effect. That will take a little bit of time. We do expect the judge in this case to do so. Meta also has a bit of a 6-month grace period to start implementing these changes. So it's not going to happen all at once, but it is going to happen, we think, over the next couple months here. Start seeing some changes, particularly if you are a parent and you have a young person who is on Facebook or Instagram. They're going to start seeing some changes pretty soon.
Yeah. And Mike, I know you're the tech guy, but is there kind of a, 100,000 feet person that looks at it and makes sure that the money is done with what was promised, or really once Missouri gets this money, they can do whatever and doesn't have to go to youth online safety?
It's my understanding that it's kind of directed at that, but it's really going to be up to the states exactly how to implement those funds. I think that a lot of that kind of still remains to be seen. But it is it's going to be interesting to watch. It is, again, $18 billion is quite a lot of money, several $100 million for each of the participating states. Again, other state priorities can get used, can get wrapped up in this, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be for, youth online safety programs or anything like that. They can use that money for other things, it seems like. But, again, it's my understanding that, like, the attorneys general here would want to take, their winnings here and direct it at, sort of addressing some of these same problems.
Got it.
I would be skeptical about how well education and ads around youth safety online works when it comes to things like that. Does a PSA really move the needle when it comes to things like this? Because the algorithm, Mike, is just so good at hooking us in. And not to mention the fact that if our peers are still using this, unabashedly, how are we supposed to pull ourselves out of it if we still want to go with the flow?
Well, I think that's kind of what the changes to these platforms are meant to address, right? This idea that, some of the features at the center of this case, infinite scrolling, for example, were designed to be intentionally addictive. Well, you can kind of see where the attorneys general were coming from in that regard, right? If you just scroll and scroll and scroll on Instagram and you never reach the bottom, well, that, maybe creates a habit. Push notifications as well played a role in this. Both of those features are going to see some pretty major changes for, people who are under 18 years old. For adults, especially if you don't have kids, this is probably not going to change things in the short term for you. It's going to be more aimed at kind of the youth who are on these platforms. The money payout and what the states do with it, I think you're right to be a little skeptical that a PSA is going to change things, but we'll have to wait and see. That's kind of all just up in the air at this point. We don't exactly know how the states are going to implement or use this money to address that. But I do think that what will change for young people is their experience on these platforms with things like time limitations and so on and so forth, and the fact that now Meta is advocating and pushing for other platforms to do the same thing. If you're a person who's under 18, social media is going to look pretty different for you, it seems like, in the next few months here. My big question is, how do these companies go about verifying whether a person is under 18 or not? That's a really hard thing to do at the end of the day, because when you're signing up, it's like, what's stopping me from just lying and saying I'm 22 when I'm actually 16?
Well,
how does a company figure out how to do that? Do you upload a selfie and then make a judgment based off that picture? It's not a perfect system? Do you use algorithms to see, who a person's following, and if those people are under 18 or over 18, that's a system that others have used. It's not perfect either. It's tough, and no one's really figured out a perfect solution for it.
If the gambling apps have figured it out, then maybe Facebook can use some of those same things. Will this be an option? Because I know tons of adults who have problems endlessly scrolling. Will there be a switch where I can turn it on and say, show me the kids' version?
That's a good question. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from just signing up for one of these accounts and telling them that you're under 18, in which case you'll be sort of automatically put into the sort of younger person version of these apps. But what is interesting about these features is that, this more has to do with default settings, right? Like when you sign up for a platform and, when you go to that platform, these features, these additional safety measures are going to be turned on by default. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, they can only be lifted by your parent or guardian. You need to contact and connect with your parent's account in order to get those, time limits changed or anything like that. If you are an adult, you have a little bit more control over that. So you can go in and kind of make your feed a little bit more restrictive if you want. But yeah, there's certainly, elements to that. I think, again, they're focusing specifically on teenagers here because, their brains are still developing, the sort of addictive features here, might play an outsized role when it comes to their mental health. But yeah, certainly there are some, lessons to be taken, across broad swaths of the population.
Absolutely. Mike, thank you for joining us.
Of course, guys. Take care.
And Josh, I would say the gambling thing, I doubt you're going to put all of Finn's information out there on an app. I don't think it's the same when it comes to gambling apps have figured it out because you don't even want your kids' pictures out there most of the time.
Well, the gambling apps seem to know my social security number before I even gave it to them.
I know,
so
but don't you?
Something's going on.
But you don't want your kids' info out there. It's one thing if you're allowing it and if they're just going to go to it.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Meta reaching a landmark settlement today with 52 state attorneys general to settle claims Facebook and Instagram posed a mental health threat to minors. The social media giant agreeing to pay $18 billion to add protections to its apps, including a 2-hour daily limit for users under 18. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
What we're looking at here is an agreement that effectively concedes that some of the design features on these apps got young users addicted, and the states had claimed that that contributed to harming the mental health of these young users, and now Meta will be forced to make these changes.
The settlement still needs court approval. A federal judge who had blocked the most controversial aspects of President Trump's executive order aimed at restricting mail-in ballots, namely employing the Postal Service as the primary enforcer of mail voter eligibility, has now lifted the decision following the Supreme Court's ruling this week that legal challenges are premature. It gives the Trump administration the green light to move forward, but the mail ballot executive order could face new legal challenges. Flash flooding in Nepal now blamed for more than 150 deaths. Hundreds still listed as missing, including 47 American tourists.
A rescue operation is underway. Where this took place, near the border with China, is a popular destination with tourists. And according to the Nepalese Tourism Board, nearly 400 tourists are missing. The army has urged people to remain on high alert and to stay in safe places.
A judge has granted Brian Kohberger a new hearing in his bid to reverse his guilty plea for the murders of 4 Idaho college students in 2022. Kohberger pleaded guilty in July 2025 after nearly 3 years of insisting on his innocence. He was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences, a new hearing now set for next summer. Fans are paying tribute to country music icon and humanitarian Dolly Parton, who died yesterday. Her publicist says it followed a brief battle with cancer. You're listening to ABC News.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is your job just a job, and you want to work in a rewarding career? If the answer is yes, then start your journey today by becoming a union construction craft laborer. Why wait? Visit buildunion.com to learn more about becoming a union craft laborer and starting a rewarding career in the construction industry. Build a career, build a future, build a legacy. Buildunion.com for more information.
Good afternoon. It's 4:03 and 91 degrees at Westport Plaza. I'm Brendan Wiese, and here's the latest from the KTRS newsroom. A missing Missouri Deputy Attorney General has been found after going missing for several days in the mountains of Wyoming. Sean McElprang went out on a solo hike last Thursday, making his way towards Gannett Peak, the highest mountaintop in Wyoming. He hadn't been seen or heard from since. Our partners at First Alert 4 report that he's been found alive and conscious but very weak. The full extent of his injuries are not yet known. McElprang has worked at the Missouri Attorney General's office for the past 28 years. Hazmat crews have been on the scene in Sauget this afternoon after a chemical explosion. Our partners at First Alert 4 are reporting that there aren't believed to be any injuries at this time associated with the explosion that occurred in the 2400 block of Mississippi Avenue. St. Charles will host will address homelessness initiatives later on tonight. KTRS's Jill Enders has more on this story.
The main focus of the meeting will highlight a potential plan to build a community of tiny homes in St. Charles for the unhoused. Mayor Dan Bergmeyer says he estimates there to be around 1,000 unhoused individuals in St. Charles County. The city of St. Charles is working with Eden Village, which has already completed 3 tiny home communities in Springfield. The town hall will be held at the Foundry Arts Center at 6 this evening. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
The head of St. Louis Public Schools is recommending closing more than a dozen campuses. Superintendent Dr. Maya Berry issued her formal recommendation to close and repurpose 14 schools during a board meeting last night as the district considers a consolidation plan to address declining enrollment and a $41 million budget deficit. Officials say if approved, the students at those campuses would be transferred to higher quality schools in the district. SLPS will continue to gather feedback from the community before the superintendent's recommendation goes to a vote in October. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. The Illinois Housing Development Authority has opened 3 senior affordable developments across the state, including one in the Metro East. North Bend Residences opened on August 3rd in Fairview Heights, the first affordable housing development IHDA has funded in the city. The 60-unit community for seniors 62 and older is comprised of single-family homes, attached duplexes, and 20-unit apartment buildings with rents starting at $644. The other developments went up in Hillside and Champaign, Illinois. Now let's take a look at the markets presented by JBL Financial. Tune in for Straight Talk on Retirement Saturdays from 9 until 11 here on the Big 550. Dow closed down 113 points at 53,463. S&P 500 down a point at 76.75. And the NASDAQ down 21 at 26,130. Let's head on over now to the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk. That's where we find the good captain himself, Paul Kopsky. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Brendan. The Cardinals send Michael McGreevy to the mound tonight against the Orioles at Busch, looking to snap a 4-game losing skid. Meanwhile, the Cardinals' AA affiliates in Springfield, Missouri, will be rebranding its identity. The ball club hopes to unveil a new team and mascot by early October. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. An accident on 70 East at Adelaide has been cleared with a residual slowdown back to Cary. Missouri. 270 south is heavy from Olive down to Manchester. 64 west crowded from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker. It's stop and go at Lake St. Louis Boulevard and thins out a little from Prospect to I-70. 170 south is busy in patches from Olive down to 64, and 64 east is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Paul, thank you very much. So we're monitoring the radar now. Not a lot out there, but if you are in the Metro East right now, and let's say around Edwardsville, Bethalto, Roxana, you've seen a shower, maybe a thunder shower. Haven't seen any lightning with it yet, but some pretty heavy precipitation. Just one cell, and it's out there by itself, and it's moving to the south-southeast. We'll see if there's any other development, if this branches off into the metro area, but that's about all we've got out there at this time. Otherwise, we're in the low 90s. If you're not getting rain, tonight the rain moves out. Comfortable low of 68. Tomorrow, not as warm as today, will top out at only 85. At 4:09, it's partly cloudy and 91 degrees at Westport Plaza. For the Talk of St. Louis, I'm Brendan Weesey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Most car shopping starts online, and lately, shoppers are spending more time at hwkia.com. Recent website reporting shows HW Kia shoppers spend nearly twice as much engaged time on the site compared to other Kia dealer websites. That means people are choosing hwkia.com instead of doing other important internet activities, like watching a guy build a swimming pool out of mud, or looking up, can my dog eat pickles? Why are they staying on hwkia.com nearly twice as long? Because there's more worth looking at. More new Kia inventory, more ways to shop, more ways to check current offers, more ways to value your trade, and more ways to find a payment that works for you. The report also shows hwkia.com shoppers are taking action and engaging through chats, texts, forums, and money-saving website events. So before you bounce from dealership to dealership, start where other shoppers are already spending more time and getting the deal they deserve. Start now at hwkia.com. Research compiled from June and July website traffic.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnard has been serving your boating needs for 40 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Wednesday afternoon, August 26th. New riverboat to start offering tours along the St. Louis riverfront soon. The Becky Thatcher Riverboat is joining the Tom Sawyer as the second boat that will offer tours along the St. Louis riverfront. Of course, Becky Thatcher is another character created by Mark Twain. Bi-State purchased the Becky Thatcher for $549,000 after conducting a nationwide search for a new vessel. The boat then received $3.2 million in repairs to improve structural integrity, modernize systems, and enhance passenger comfort. The boat replaces a 1963 riverboat that previously carried that name. The new boat is 31% larger than its predecessor. The riverboat is docked, almost ready to cruise. She just needs to be certified by the U.S. Coast Guard and undergo staff training before welcoming passengers. This Becky Thatcher is the fourth generation of replica 19th century paddle wheel riverboats to bear that name. So that means that the riverboat cruises have to be pretty darn popular, or I don't think you would spend all that money to add another one.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I never went on the Becky Thatcher, but I have been on the old Admiral.
Oh, yes.
Remember the Admiral?
Mhm.
Many times.
It's very cool. I've been on
Many
the Tom Sawyer, the Becky Thatcher throughout the years, and
Yeah.
it's very cool. They do blues cruises, they do dinner cruises, they do brunch cruises. So hopefully they'll do some fun stuff.
That's a good heads up. And when did they say it's going to be?
They're
They
waiting
didn't.
to get approval, but it's there ready to go as soon as the Coast Guard
good.
signs off.
That's really, really good.
Back in the day when you took a riverboat,
Mm-hmm.
were you sleeping on these things?
Yes.
Did they have cabins?
You mean in the 1800s?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had cabins.
That's how they
They had
traveled.
cabins.
Yes.
Like if you're
Okay.
going from New Orleans to Memphis or Memphis to
And
St. Louis.
they still
or,
have the Delta Queen. The Delta Queen used to pull into New Madrid all the time, and it would take you from, New Orleans up. And that was way a lot of people traveled to see some American cities.
And,
Now-
you sleep on these things?
Yes.
Yeah, they had cabins. Now, for instance, you would probably have been a riverboat gambler,
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
a card shark.
If you will. All right, I'm looking up the Delta Queen.
Right.
This thing is considerably larger
Well, yeah.
than the Becky Thatcher.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my question. I see the McDonald's riverboat, and it's big, but it's not big enough to think you could sleep on it. But
But even the barges that you see, they sleep on.
Yeah.
So they
Well,
are
barges,
big enough.
Yeah, barges are huge.
But
They're
not the,
not the where that you sleep.
Where you
not
sleep.
The,
you're
yeah.
not going to sleep on top of the coal.
No.
Oh, yeah. I guess good point.
It's just the house that's on top of the barge is where they sleep, and some of them then go down underneath.
And remember, everything was smaller in those days, so I've never been on one, but I imagine a stateroom
Yeah.
on a riverboat in 1860 was probably not huge.
Pretty tight.
I think my problem was the riverboats that you sleep on are much, much larger than what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know
not-
that to be true.
Not necessarily. And
Okay.
even the riverboats in Europe that I've traveled on, they're not that much bigger.
Like, now, I've never been on a cruise, but when you see them on TV and stuff, even those staterooms aren't gigantic.
Mm-hmm. No, they're not at all.
So, I don't think you want to
These
have your whole family in there with.
the Becky Thatcher and Tom
cousins.
Sawyer are going to be a little bit shorter, but as far as height goes, they're not much shorter than what you
Well,
would
they're,
see.
they're skinnier as well. So-
Then what?
Then the Queen that Heidi was talking about that you get to
The
sleep
Queen
on.
is relatively big, but I'm saying
Yeah.
back in the day, there were riverboats of all sizes.
Yeah.
The Delta Queen just was kind of the legendary one. Like the
Yeah.
Queen Mary is bigger than other boats of its time.
This Becky Thatcher is considerably smaller than that other one.
Okay.
So
Do you have boat
But
envy?
again, I don't think you're not comparing apples to apples here.
I'm comparing what I am looking at to what I did not know existed, which is the sleeper ones. I didn't know the sleeper ones existed.
Yeah, I don't think they're sleeper ones. I think you're trying to fit it into a box. It's not really real.
Okay. I'll show you the pictures later.
No,
the,
I know
the
what you're
Delta Queen
saying.
is huge. The Delta Queen holds I don't know
Yes.
how many people. The point is, there used to be smaller versions of a riverboat that you could still sleep on.
What's a good riverboat movie to check out? Is Porgy and Bess? Isn't that a
Maybe,
riverfront?
Maybe a Mark Twain movie.
Maybe. And, so you may book passage, like I said, from New Orleans to St. Louis, and then there'd also be an area where they'd have a bunch of bales of cotton, and it was just a
Just lay it and put your hat over your head.
well, you
and
could
take a nap.
but a multifaceted. It was just a conveyance to get people and cargo up and down the river.
Was Maverick? Was there a riverboat in
At
Maverick?
some points.
Yeah.
At some points.
Okay.
Okay, that's the end of this segment.
Yeah, it's Josh's questions and
What's the category? Things Josh is just now learning.
Things
There
I
were
didn't know.
riverboats that you sleep on.
I didn't know that.
Here's something you do know, Josh, and I know you can't wait as an alum. Missouri Tiger football is ready to go, but we're still over a week away from Missouri Tiger football. That, of course, you hear right here on the Big 550 KTRS. But if you are jonesing for college football, don't forget we have Division I football right here in the metro area. Of course, I'm talking about the Lindenwood Lions as they making a look to make a run at the Ohio Valley Conference title. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock tip-off, 3 o'clock tailgating begins. They got a great tailgating setup. So again, you're a Missouri Tiger fan, Fighting Illini, whatever, but you need some football now, I hope I'll see you in St. Charles tomorrow, 6 o'clock kickoff. So it might be tough when you get after work, but it's the kickoff of the season. Tons of local talent. Quarterback Pops Battle.
All
Don't you love that name?
right, yes.
Pops Battle from East St. Louis, and there must be 25 players from the metro area.
Oh, I like that.
Playing for Lindenwood. Jed Stugart starts his 10th season at the helm. He was on with Brendan Weesey last night, and hope we see you there tomorrow, 6 o'clock in St. Charles. Josh, did you know you lived in a college town?
I was unaware.
You do?
I was unaware. Not a lot of them.
You do live in a college town.
Hanging out on my street.
And we expect you and Carney to be at the game tomorrow.
Okay. Well, after I get off of work,
Yeah,
maybe
of
I'll
course.
swing by. All right. Speaking of long-distance travel, some passengers flying on International United Airlines aircraft will have the option to book a seat with extra space after the airline has custom-designed new seats. It's the same 3 seats, but they have just put a little spacer in the middle seat, and they won't book that seat for a little extra more. And they said not as much as sitting up front, but a little extra more.
I think we talked about this.
But do both seat partners have to buck up?
Both seat partners have to buck up.
So if you want to and I don't, are you going to get mad at me?
Well, I mean, will they sit me somewhere else and let someone else who wants to?
But then you wanted that aisle seat on row 10, not row 22.
Well, they would move me because this is all in line with what Alex Stone has always told us about the airlines. They are looking to squeeze more and more money out of us.
Yep.
And if you see the picture of it, it just looks like a spacer that's attached to the two. It's a little table. But if they don't sell these seats, they can pull them out and sell it as a 3-seater. Like always. So just a little bit. You know what? It's not first class. It's not business class. But how can we charge people more back in economy? Well, let's tell them they can pay extra and not have a middle seat.
I got to get some tickets for our California trip in November and buy tickets for Jen in particular. So we'll see if that pops up as an option.
Keep us posted.
As we enter into the summer months, you might be thinking windows and doors. Yeah, and where are you going to go? You have lots of options when it comes to windows and doors. Let me tell you about a St. Louis company that everybody should know about. It's called WSWindow.net. It's run by Larry Thornton and his son, Joe. And they've been selling windows and doors in St. Louis for 38 years. They do most of their work with a handshake and a smile. There is no high-pressure sales. There is no jacking up the prices and then try and bring you down as they demand some type of signature on the dotted line. They'll shake your hand and say, we hope to hear from you. And they have been successful. They've beat the big boys at their games for all these many years because they do it right. They have long-time installers, long-time employees. The Window Store. If you need windows, if you need doors, you want a great price, and you want to keep it in the St. Louis family. That's Larry and Joe Thornton. The Window Store. WSWindow.net. WSWindow.net.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the control option mindset featuring the lifetime and generational income maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
Due to the overwhelming success of Country Club Car Wash's summer sparkler promotion, they're extending it until further notice. At Country Club Car Wash, make sure it says country, you can buy 2 ultimate washes and get 2 free. That's a total of 4 ultimate exterior washes for only $52 at Country Club Car Wash. Or $92 gets you 4 ultimate exterior washes and 4 interior cleanings. Available in-store or online, cccwstl.com. Country Club Car Wash, cccwstl.com/summer-sparkler. CCWSTL.com.
Hey, it's John Carney. I'm up on your roof. Look around. Looks like it needs some work up here. I think we can take care of it. Actually, it wasn't really on your roof. That's the magic of radio. But you know what? Somebody trying to fool you about what's wrong with your roof isn't a joke, and it happens all the time. Have you gotten that call? Hey, we're in the neighborhood, and we're doing some roofing work, so we'd be glad to give you a discount since we're already here. Don't fall for it. Go with the company that's been doing a great job for people and not pretending that something's really wrong when it isn't, or alerting you to something that is wrong that you may not have caught. They send drones up to your roof, zoom in on certain areas so you can get the diagnosis before anybody does anything, and most importantly, costs you anything. That's why they're still around and still do an amazing job. And no, I'm not up on your roof. That's Allen Roofing, the name to know, the name to trust. Online at aroofing.net.
Hello, this is Zipper Zeppa hosting the Mater Media Speaker Series. Oh, we're bringing some big heavy hitters, Bill O'Reilly, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, St. Louis's own John O'Leary, and more. You can ask your question when you get a series pass and show up at Lindenwood University for this scintillating series. 25% discount for KTRS listeners. Go to matermedia.org/KTRS. That's matermedia.org/KTRS.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer. Medicare can feel like learning a whole new language. Supplement plans, Medicare Advantage, Part D prescription coverage. How do you know if your doctors are even in the network? That's where Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man, comes in. Ryan is like having your own Medicare consultant, guiding you through every option at no cost to you. By law, the insurance companies pay his fee, not you. For the right plan, call the Medicare Man, 314-368-6808, or visit MedicareManSTL.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our house in the middle of our streets. Our house in the middle of our
Yesterday, we debated what should and shouldn't be on your kitchen counter. Today, Lauren Risley, founder of Lauren Risley Realty, is with us to weigh in. I think you've mentioned this before, but there are some really cool ways to hide your appliances these days and still make them easy to get to.
Absolutely.
And what are those called? Like, it's not a closet anymore. It's like they've almost had a built-in cabinet. I know our mutual friend, Meg, just built one. It's like it's all there. You just open up the doors.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. I mean, you can you can spend as much money as you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make things really fancy and, kind of just like fade into the cabinet so you can't tell there's any appliances there. And then there's some more affordable ways that when you are picking your cabinets, doing your cabinet design. So, for example, like your upper cabinets, typically stop above, 12 or 18 inches above the countertops.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on either side, we call it bookending. If you do a bookend, you put another cabinet there, then the cabinet goes all the way down to the countertop. So when you open that cabinet door, you can have your appliances and obviously you have an outlet behind there. So you can have appliances in those lower cabinets on either side of your, cabinet run.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to do it. Our kitchen and living area are one big space. I love it. Josh hates an open floor plan. But what's the trend right now?
You know what? I mean, if you stay in your house long enough, your house is on trend. If it wasn't 3 years ago, stay there another year or two, and you'll probably have the trendiest house on the block. With a lot of our buyers right now, especially young families, an overwhelming theme that we're hearing is more than one living space. So like more than one living room area, but on the same floor, not like a finished basement or something like that.
Like
so
just
it's
for
really
the kids
hard
to play, to keep the toys in a different area rather than being in your living space?
Yeah, I think so for some of the young families, it is that. And then others, it's just like, hey, I like to watch this and I like to read a book,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, they want separate, families just want separate areas. And so, we're seeing a lot more people not wanting necessarily an open floor plan. They want, yours is like open like kitchen living area.
Yes, but not the rest of it.
So I wouldn't even consider your house necessarily. If I was describing it, I wouldn't say open floor plan. I'd say like open entertaining space.
Yeah, I agree. But somebody else called it that in the room.
No, but the place where she watches TV is the same room where her kitchen is.
Not necessarily.
But there's no divider. My whole thing is I want separation. I want to be able to be in the kitchen and not even know what's on TV in the other room.
You wouldn't have to carry all the plates that you're taking into the other room around corners and
I've
through
got a
doorways
TV in
and
the
stuff.
kitchen, so I don't need.
No,
I
But
don't
if you
need to
have
go
friends
anywhere.
over and you're,
brag.
entertaining,
the guys can go in the living room and the girls can be in the kitchen, or
Now,
vice
why don't we
versa.
just why don't we just go back to the parlor and the cigar lounge, right? You know,
Well,
we'll
my house isn't
start
big
just-
enough for a parlor.
What about a ballroom? You know, people got to dance at some point.
That's
at these
right.
parties.
But
you
do
know,
people
Josh,
come?
what I-
Yeah, do people come
what I
in and
think of-
say, "I'd rather have something where it's separated"?
Well, so I think there's no right or wrong answer, but I think half of what you're saying is what people want. Is that, you know, we got into this build about 10 years ago where people wanted to walk in and you have your living room, your dining room, your kitchen, like everything's one big space. There's no division.
Yeah, with a high ceiling, like a
Yes.
big canyon.
And that's an open floor plan. For sure, that's an open floor plan. I do think people are wanting their kitchen to be open. The majority of buyers we see want their kitchen open to some living space because someone's always stuck in the kitchen.
right?
Also, here comes my ADD. Do you remember the song, Someone's in the Kitchen with Dinah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I sang it for half my team, and they literally blank stared at me.
Oh no.
And I was like, I'm telling you. And I'm like, someone's in the kitchen, I know. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm
Yeah.
like, strumming on the old banjo.
Right.
Yep.
Of
That's
course.
all. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So someone's always in the kitchen, and they want to be a part of, you know, the
conversation
socialization and things like that. Yeah, exactly. So I love that Josh has a TV in his kitchen. But for those who don't have the space for that or the wall space, maybe their cabinets cover all of the majority of walls. You know, having it open to some sort of living space, we definitely see a lot of people wanting that.
Yeah. It's very interesting. What else are you seeing? What's hot right now?
You know what? This market is pretty crazy. You know, we have some listings that, you know, this is going to go multiple offers the first weekend, and we get 2 showings the first week. We have an open house. We have 1 person through. You know, we really start to sweat bullets. 2 weeks goes by, and then we get a full price offer. You know, it's like, what the heck? And then we have others where we probably have at least 10 sets of buyers right now that have written over 8 offers.
Wow.
So, like, have gone through a house, liked it, talked to Adam or Jamie or Angie or Jordan or myself. Hey, what should we offer? Talk to the agent back and forth. I mean, when you're writing an offer, we just had a deal. I'm not in studio today because as I was driving there, got a call of a buyer really freaking out over an inspection down in Lafayette Square. So I flipped the car around and came down here. And it's a mess, but it's like having to like walk through, this is a mess, but this is our court. Here's plan A, plan B, plan C, right? But what we're seeing now, that negotiation for the house we have took 7 days.
Wow.
7 days. You know what I mean? So imagine doing that 8 different times, right? So doing these negotiations as a buyer, like they feel bad for us. That's our job. Like, don't feel that, let us do that, right? But doing that and like feeling like you have it and then not getting it. And I mean, we're writing over ask, just incredible offers that are just not, that are getting beat out. So it is just a really, really weird market right now that we're seeing, good and bad.
Well, and that's why you need a team like Lauren Risley Realty. A lot of what we talk about here, Lauren and Adam talk about in depth on Call the Closer with Lauren Risley Realty. You can hear it on the Big 550 KTRS Sundays at 1. You can also catch Lauren on Fox 2 on Tuesday mornings. And if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, because knowledge is power. Call Lauren Risley Realty 314-775-0684. You can also email her at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com. Somebody said, Lauren is so right. Stay in your house long enough, a good minute, and we'll come back. So, make your house your home. Lauren, thank you, and good luck with that fire.
Awesome. I'll see you next week.
In the middle of our streets, our house. In the middle of our
Popped in to talk to McGraw and Carl this morning.
Yeah.
To ask them their thoughts on keeping the toaster out.
Mm-hmm.
And McGraw
you're talking to 2 men.
he's just like you.
Mm-hmm.
He puts everything away.
Yeah.
And I say, even with trying to get a 6-year-old out of the house to go to school in the morning, you're able to get the toaster out and put it away and all that stuff.
It's not that big of a deal, Josh.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty big hassle.
I feel like he's more cantankerous than usual today.
Yeah.
Do you?
He's trying to win a battle instead of, hey,
I admit it.
If you want to have your garbage all over the kitchen, that's
on
your
you.
garbage.
You do you,
No,
boo.
you know I have
you.
everything out. So.
Yeah. So it's 4:33. Captain Paul, is it a mess on the roads or is it pretty tidy like my house?
Well, not too bad, Heidi. We just have one crash. It's an accident on 370 East at 94 with traffic jammed back to Elm. 270 South is heavy from Olive down to Manchester. 64 West is crowded from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker. It's stop and go in the right lane at Lake St. Louis Boulevard and from Prospect to I-70. 64 East bogs down around 170. 370 West is running slow between St. Louis Mills and 141. 170 South is busy in patches from Olive down to 64, and 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by John Beal Roofing. John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. Get started today for expert service and a free no-obligation estimate online at johnbealroofing.com. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1.
These medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain.
Talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. We make this work for you and really start feeling like the old you.
None better than to call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
How would you like your vehicle serviced at your own home or office? Our new Mobile Service Plus, available exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac, can do just that. Hi, this is Joe Clemens. Simply give us a call or go to our website and get a unit dispatched right to your doorstep. This is a game changer for customer service, and we are so happy to offer it to you. Everything from oil changes, belts, new tires, tire rotation, recalls, key fobs, brake pads and rotors, EV charge, battery replacement, air conditioning service, and so much more. St. Paul's Mobile Service Plus will come to you. Call our mobile dispatch at 636-931-0055. That's 636-931-0055. Or go to our website at stpaulcadillac.com and set up an appointment. It's that simple. Get door-to-door service with St. Paul's new Mobile Service Plus. Nothing could be easier. Set up your appointment today. That's Mobile Service Plus, exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac at the Herculaneum Auto Mall exit.
Everybody knows that Appliance Discounters is the place to go for the lowest price on appliances. Well, now, Appliance Discounters has just got better. When you swing by Appliance Discounters, they have an outlet store located at 9425 Gravois in Afton. That store is filled with slightly dinged and dented appliances. They have closeouts from one-of-a-kind appliances, and believe it or not, they're priced even lower than their other 4 showroom stores. So at Appliance Discounters, you get the prices that are up to 60% off the competition. They come with all full factory warranties and rebates. Even if you don't mind the small ding and the dent, you'll save big, and oftentimes that ding and that dent are on the side and the back, and you'll never see it. So you're getting a great price on something nobody will ever see. The outlet store is open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6 and on Saturday 10 to 5. Or you can always shop online, theappliancediscounters.com. That's theappliancediscounters.com. We'll see you there.
Looking for a new kitchen or bath? Call me, Anne-Marie Boges, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer at Anne-Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help make your dream space into a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. We do it all, from design to bid to installation too. Call us today at 636-821-3395 or go online at annemariestudio.com. Let's make your dream kitchen or bath a reality with Anne Marie Design Studio.
The Missouri Laborers Union and their contractors build our communities. Chances are your church, school, grocery store, or gas station was built by contractors using union laborers. They take great pride in their work and accomplishments and love to go by an old project and say, I built that. The men and women of the Missouri Laborers Union and their contractors, taking pride in building our communities. Go to buildunion.com for more information. That's buildunion.com.
You're selling your home, and I want to buy it. This is Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I am ready to pay top dollar for your home. No contingencies, no inspections, no monkey business. I buy your home no matter the condition or location, and you walk away with cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867, 314-283-0867, or at robankproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
So I think a lot of us are so busy these days, we eat at our desk. I am guilty of it on a
All three
daily
of us,
basis.
yeah.
Yeah. But now they say if you snack while typing, microbiologists say your keyboard is probably a lot dirtier than you think. The combination of food residue, saliva, because sometimes you spit, or maybe from your fingers, can turn your keyboard into a bacteria cafeteria. They say keep some hand sanitizer or wet wipes nearby. Make sure that you clean your hands after eating, and then give your keyboard an occasional wipe down, which I try to do. But when they get kind of in the
grooves,
in
the cracks,
keys,
yeah.
But I saw, I guess Julie must have mentioned it earlier, and somebody on the text line said every time they snack at their desk, they turn their keyboard over, which is a great idea.
Oh.
And I'm going to start doing it.
Or you could cover it.
With
I
what?
guess. I don't know.
Paper?
With a towel.
Like a doily. Have your grandma make a doily.
You're going to carry a towel in now?
Back in grade school, they used to have the keyboard covers. They were made of plastic.
Yeah.
And then just go
The old
right on top.
typewriters had that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is true. Kind of like a piano where you have the wooden cover that comes out and covers the keys.
Drops it down, yeah.
I'm not embarrassed, but I don't want anybody to go look at it right now. But I didn't realize there's a whole stack of keyboards back in the office.
Mm-hmm.
I need to swap mine out because mine
is filthy.
Should go in the trash can.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do mine.
At this point.
Do mine too while you're at it, if you don't mind.
It is.
It's gross.
Really gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really gross.
Maybe that's why you're sick.
Oh, yeah,
maybe.
that's it.
Or maybe it's giving me
Antibodies.
Antibodies. Yeah.
And you're just trying to power through them?
Not sure why I've been sick for the last month, though.
Folks, I want you audience to realize that Josh completely ignored me when I said, hey, swap mine out too while you're at it. And he didn't even acknowledge the comment. I wish he'd just say, no, I'm not doing it.
Okay, fine, no.
Yes, that's what I want.
No, I'm not going to do that, Bob.
Okay.
All right, I'll grab two when I go back there. You said microbiologist. There was another microbiologist story who's talking not about our keyboards, but our floors and what we track on top of them. Should you have people take their shoes off?
I hate this debate because I know you should, and it's just too much trouble.
I don't require people to take their shoes off. I don't take my own shoes off when I go into my
I don't either,
house.
but our neighbors do, and we're required to take them off.
What do you think about that?
I hate it because I have sweaty feet.
When you go in, do you have to put on a kimono?
I feel like you should. I will say most of the time, even though they would like me to, and I know that this is rude, I don't because I think my feet are worse than what's on the bottom of my shoes.
I would. I haven't
Probably
really run
not
across
true.
that in a long time. I would respect what they want, but yeah, I'm like you. Now I'm walking around in my sock feet. I don't know.
I think, to me, that's grosser. I don't want to see everybody's sock feet and bare toes.
I generally will roll my eyes and then just do it. because I don't care. What do I care?
But you do want to get the eye roll in.
Yeah.
Yes, I do definitely want to squeeze that in there. Bacteria such as E. coli, allergens, lead paint, they say, gets pulverized into dust and can get on the ground and in the dirt, and you could track it in. They say pets and small children who are closer to the floor are more susceptible.
But
and
what
that's
does it
when
say
germs
about
become a
cleaning the
problem.
floors? Like if you just vacuum
They say
once a week,
regular
you-
vacuuming and
Yeah.
sweeping and mopping and disinfecting prevents all of
We've
this.
been living in houses for 10,000
Right.
years. We're okay.
I think so too.
841-260, you make people take their shoes off when they come into your house.
Oddly, I make people take their shirt off. So
now, I could get on board with that. Just give me a hanger. But when you get home, do you put on house shoes? Do you walk around in your own bare feet?
when I wake up in the morning, I put on my little Nike slides just so I'm not barefoot. I don't
Around the
want to be
house.
barefoot.
You don't want to be
I'm
barefoot
going to
in your
stub
own
my
house.
toe. It seems like the bottom of my feet kind of are tender.
Well,
I'm not Tarzan.
I don't typically walk around barefoot either. I have a couple pairs of house shoes,
Yeah.
but I don't take my house shoes outside.
No, I don't do
My house shoes are only for inside. So if I'm going to be going in and out, I have a different pair of shoes.
But you won't walk around in socks or barefoot.
More likely barefoot than socks. Yeah, I usually don't walk around in socks, either barefoot or some sort of foot covering.
Foot covering.
Yeah, we have stairs wooden stairs and sock
Oh,
feet.
socks are dangerous.
That's a dangerous.
It really is.
Slipping.
Yeah.
Slip hazard.
We had, and I know that I've told you this before, but we did an addition at our house growing up, and we didn't have anywhere to put a real staircase, so it was a spiral wooden staircase. And I cannot tell you how many times as a kid, because you would pledge and dust.
So it looks nice.
So it looks pretty, and if you didn't know that had happened and you even take a slow step down, you're going to ride the rails.
And I've told you guys before, my shoulder that got replaced, 2 years ago now, that it all started slipping down basement steps, wooden basement steps, carrying laundry. Foot went out from under me, landed, jerked that shoulder up.
Yeah.
and
Oh, gosh.
It's just wooden steps can be really dangerous.
They can.
I have noticed, maybe subconsciously or just how I operate in my own home, when I realize that I'm probably done for the night, I'll kick my shoes off. But otherwise...
And just walk around the house.
And walk around the house in my
leave
socks.
your socks.
Yeah.
But when you get home from work, even if you're not going anywhere else, you keep your work shoes on?
For a while. Yeah.
I
And then
usually do too.
When I realize I'm done taking the trash out or we're not going to go for a walk or this or that, I'll kick them off and put my feet up.
If I change clothes, then I'll go to the slides.
That's it. Okay, that's same.
But a lot of times let's face it, we're not wearing a suit. It's radio.
Right.
And so
But see, no, if we are not going anywhere and I know we're home by 6:45, I will be
Sweats.
Yeah, sweats and my house shoes, and that's a regular.
on the weekend for me, it's shorts and t-shirt
Yeah,
all day.
Heidi, I want you to bring back the house coat.
I do have one.
Do you?
Is it flowered?
It is not. I do have one in the RV that was a joke that is flowered.
So we went to this
Small
concert,
kettle.
Alabama Shakes, and she's wearing what I elbow my friend. I say, this looks like my grandma's house coat. It was a big zip up in the front, kind of, it looked like a house coat.
Yeah.
And I remember my grandma always had one, 2 pockets in the front, to hold scissors or whatever.
And your cigarettes.
Your cigarettes
Yeah.
and your
Right.
lighter or whatever. But was that like a robe?
Yes, it was.
Or did you wear it on top of your regular
No, that was your
clothes?
robe.
That was your robe.
That wasn't what you slept in
You're
usually.
not wearing much of anything underneath the house
Generally
coat.
not.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not like you come home and kick your shoes off and then throw your house coat on.
No.
Not like when you go home and you put your smoking
My
jacket
smoking
on.
jacket
Yeah.
on and ask, Finn, where are my slippers?
Not that fancy. Somebody said in April, I fractured my pelvis in 2 places wearing socks falling down my hardwood stairs.
Oh, poor thing. Sorry about
A
that.
couple people saying I don't like shoes in the house, which I get.
That's okay.
Our friend Susan, most everyone takes their shoes off at our house in Perryville. There's so much that could be tracked in there. Here in St. Louis, we have our mats out and you just wipe your feet.
Okay.
I do try to wipe feet when we come in the
Yeah,
house.
I do too.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
If your home has been the place everyone gathers this summer, you already know how much the little things matter. The sunlight pouring through the windows, the patio door that's constantly opening for kids, friends, and family, the front door welcoming everyone from neighbors to weekend guests. Those everyday moments deserve windows and doors that are just as beautiful as the memories being made around them. That's why so many homeowners choose Renewal by Andersen for beautifully crafted replacement windows and doors designed for lasting comfort, energy efficiency, and timeless style. And for a limited time, take $385 off every replacement window and $785 off every replacement patio or entry door. With flexible financing available, now is a great time to invest in the home you love. Scheduling your free window and diagnosis couldn't be easier. Just dial pound 250 on your mobile phone and say the keyword windows. No phone number, no searching online. Just pound 250 and the keyword windows. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist. Your personal florist since 1883.
What does the Science Center, Lambert Airport, the Magic House, McDonnell Douglas, and St. Louis firehouses all have in common? They all trusted their roof to Beatty Roofing. Beatty Roofing has been in business for 70 years. They're not storm chasers. They're based right here in St. Louis, and they've been doing it right for 70-plus years. And if you need a roofer, Beatty Roofing. In fact, first responders get an extra 10% off all roofs. 314-892-1331 or online, BeattyRoofing.com.
Mizzou football on the Big 550 KTRS is powered by Royal Banks of Missouri. The Tigers kick off the season on Thursday, September 3rd. Pre-game at 5 and kickoff at 7 right here on the Big 550.
It is 10 minutes before 5 o'clock. Captain Paul, how's traffic?
Heidi, no accidents, just some slow traffic. 270 south is heavy from Olive down to Manchester. 64 west crowded from Kings Highway to Hampton, and it's stop and go from Prospect to I-70. 64 east bogs down around 170. 370 west is running slow between St. Louis Mills and 141. 170 south is busy from Delmar down to 64. 44 west heavy from the Poplar Street Bridge to Tucker. 64 east is jammed between Illinois 157 and 159, and 5570 west slows down approaching Illinois 111. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Come From Away, which runs September 18th through October 18th. Based on a true story, Come From Away shares the incredible events of 9/11 in the small town of Gander, Newfoundland. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
The world is mourning Dolly Parton as her family plans a private service in Nashville. Alex Caparello is a national correspondent with News Nation, and he is at Dollywood joining us with the latest. The tributes coming in from the stars have been amazing. What's it like there at Dollywood, Alex?
Yeah, isn't it fantastic to see just how many people loved and cherished Dolly Parton over the last 24 plus hours? Just seeing my social media feed blow up with people that have their own stories and memories. And even if they never met her, it's still very clear that she left such an impact on their hearts. It really is fantastic to see. As for here in Dollywood, yeah, a lot of people, fans from all over the world, frankly. I've spoken to people from Amsterdam, people from Australia, and of course, people from all corners of our United States of America coming here to Dollywood just to sort of bask in her glory, what she built. Obviously, this is an amusement park and theme park that's been around since '86, but, you know, her fingerprint is really all over it. Not to mention you can do things like go through the Dolly Parton experience, which is essentially a museum that walks people through her life from, you know, when she grew up in her Tennessee mountain home all the way through her solo career to her Hollywood career. So it is a fantastic moment just to really see what she was all about. And then obviously for a lot of people just to learn who she was.
The family has said that she wanted a private ceremony. Do we have any idea what that's going to look like?
Yeah, they're keeping that pretty buttoned up. But what you just said is everything I know as well, that they're not really interested in having this massive funeral, but rather something a lot more intimate, quiet, and personal. That's what Dolly Parton's wishes were. She is going to be buried beside her longtime husband, Carl Dean, in a cemetery and mausoleum that's just outside of their home in Nashville. And jokingly, Dolly Parton wished for herself to be buried in her signature high heels. So all the way to the grave, she's still carrying that wonderful sense of humor.
Yeah, I love that. I did see the Grand Ole Opry is going to host a special tribute show in her honor this Saturday, so that'll be fun. Any idea if there are other tributes planned for our Queen of Country?
Well, I think no matter what, here in Tennessee, we're going to be seeing things unfold day after day. I mean, for example, just today in her hometown of Sevierville, which is just north of Dollywood, so many people, hundreds gathered outside the iconic Dolly Parton statue. It was sort of an impromptu gathering, but then all of a sudden made much more meaningful when the city decided to toll the bells in the old clock tower for 5 minutes straight at noon. So things like that sort of will be popping up from Nashville to Sevierville to Dollywood. And I think in even other parts of our country, think about the fact that she has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in California. So no matter what, people are going to be remembering Dolly Parton, I believe, for a very long time.
You know, Alex, I'm looking at the map for Dollywood. Bob and I were big theme park people. I didn't realize there's a lot of coasters here. There's a lot of rides here. This is a real, this is a real theme park. Had you been there? Yeah, had you been there before?
No, but interestingly, I learned that my parents honeymooned here, so that was funny. All of a sudden, my mom always called my dad a New York cowboy because he was from Queens, New York, but for some reason gravitated towards country folk music. So anyway, that's just a little anecdote about my family. But yeah, Pigeon Forge is where Dollywood is, and you know, it was sort of an amusement and theme park city, dating all the way back to like the 1960s. But Dollywood opened up in 1986, and it just completely changed the landscape of this town. And all of a sudden, more and more attractions started popping up here just because Dolly Parton was just such a household name, and she drew such large crowds. And, you know, that's just one example of her giving back to her community, because think about all the jobs that she created and the wonderful economic boost that, you know, this part of Eastern Tennessee all of a sudden got from just her likeness being plastered all around town. So a lot of people really love and admire her here in East Tennessee for what she's done for this community here.
And you mentioned her thumbprint. Did she license her name and image, or was she really involved in all of these projects that she was working on?
Oh, no, she was very much involved in it. You know, she was
there to open it this year. Yeah, right?
Yeah, she was a savvy businesswoman in all regards, and you know, this theme park is a testament to that. Like, for example, the main street that you walk down of the theme park, called Show Street, is bookended by 2 theaters, and that was, you know, a testament to her loving the arts, right, the music and the showmanship. And so the homes are in the Victorian style that she loved. You walk a little bit further and you see a carbon copy replica of the 2-bedroom home that she grew up in the Smoky Mountains of Eastern Tennessee. with her 11 siblings. So it's not just, the things that she wanted and desired, but it really is sort of a legacy, a place for people to go and learn about her legacy and where she, the humble beginnings that she grew up in, to all of, the massive fame that she was able to garner throughout her career.
Yeah. And Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the whole idea behind that was really to offer jobs to people because there weren't that many in the area.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, again, her trying to give back to her community, recognizing that there is wonderful potential here. And there's a lot to be appreciated and admired about this part of our country, which is often ignored. The Appalachian Mountains, are not a place that many people would think to go to until all of a sudden you put the Dolly Parton name on it. And now it's a place where people can flock to year after year. And that's certainly what I'm hearing from a lot of people I spoke to today, is that this is not their first time here. A lot of people said that they've been going here every single year since 1986. So that was just wild to me.
And school's back in session, but Dollywood is open today to the public?
Oh, yeah, and I would say it is flourishing today. Thousands of people have been stopping by today. Typically, on a given year, about 3 million visitors will come to Dollywood, and today is no different.
Yeah. Well, Alex, thank you so much for your report.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've never been, but it is on our list to go to Dollywood because it's a great area of the country as well. But she had a hand in everything. I don't think she ever kind of sat back and let somebody else take over, which is pretty cool. Coming up, we'll talk to Ben Siegel, ABC News Deputy Political Director, on the primaries wrapping up.
We celebrate our nation's 250 years of independence and the anniversary of the One Big Beautiful Bill. As a small business owner, you understand the freedom and independence that comes from owning your own business. Hi, I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group and the author of the 2 #1 best-selling books on taxes, Keep What's Yours and Keeping What's Yours. We're celebrating 50 years helping small businesses maintain their independence by minimizing their financial risk to their business, reducing their tax liability, and growing their wealth with strategic tax planning. If you're relying on investment advice from someone who isn't familiar with strategic tax planning and you feel like you might be paying more than your fair share in taxes, give us a call. 636-394-5524. That's 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The death toll is jumping following catastrophic flooding in Nepal. More than 150 people have died, over 400 others listed missing, including 47 American tourists. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burrich has more.
Multiple regions of Nepal are impacted. The destruction, I think, is impossible to quantify at this point in time. Multiple rivers flooded, a huge search and rescue operation now underway. But I think it's important to point out that reaching the affected areas will be complex. And not only is it mountainous terrain, but of course the roads and the bridges are very much impacted in that area. One report I read earlier today said 19 bridges in the region are damaged.
Closing arguments set to begin tomorrow in the Lindsay Clancy trial in Massachusetts after testimony concluded today.
Jurors heard from a total of 84 witnesses across 21 days of testimony as prosecutors sought to prove that Lindsay Clancy deliberately and intentionally murdered her children 3 years ago. Defense lawyers argue she was suffering from postpartum psychosis at the time and lost her grip on reality. When she sought medical help, defense lawyers argue that her doctors misdiagnosed and overmedicated her, prescribing her more than a dozen psychiatric drugs over a 4-month period. Closing arguments are scheduled to begin on Thursday morning. Peter Haralamus, ABC News.
Meta reaching a tentative landmark settlement with every U.S. state except New Mexico and Florida, joining in the proposal stemming from the lawsuit alleging Facebook and Instagram was designed to be addictive to minors. And the social media giant agreeing to pay up some $18 billion to make changes to its app. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
A default daily time limit of 2 hours for users under the age of 18. A ban on displaying numbers of likes or reactions to users under age 18. A ban on cosmetic procedure image filters. The option for some users under 18 to have a non-personalized feed. That is significant because that gets at algorithmic changes with these platforms.
You're listening to ABC News.
Hey, it's Julie Buck. Are you always struggling to find the perfect gift? Well, we have the solution for you. You can try a signature facial or a teen facial gift certificate. Have you heard about the Only Facial? They've got one in Clayton, Des Peres, Creve Coeur, Frontenac, St. Charles, Sunset Hills, U-City, Columbia, and Springfield Mo, Edwardsville, Illinois, and now open in Webster Groves and coming soon to Cottleville. This is a top-rated facial spa that only does facials, and there are no upsells and no gratuities accepted. One price for everything, and that price is $125. The signature facial consists of several steps customized to your unique skin types and concerns. The Only Facial is the best thing going. So check them out online at theonlyfacial.com. And if you're an esthetician, they're hiring at The Only Facial. Find out more about all of it on their website. It's theonlyfacial.com.
Good afternoon. It's 5:03 and 91 degrees at Westport Plaza. I'm Brendan Wiese, and here's the latest from the KTRS Newsroom. St. Louis County leaders are proposing regulations for data centers. County Executive Sam Page says the draft proposal unveiled Tuesday would establish requirements for property setbacks from homes, schools, and parks, as well as standards for landscaping, screening, lighting, architecture, and noise studies. It would also establish 4 categories for data centers based on facility size, with the largest developments being restricted to industrial zones and requiring county council approval. The county said it will accept written public comments on the proposal as well. The newest riverboat on the Mississippi has docked in downtown St. Louis. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has more.
The Becky Thatcher has officially arrived and will soon be offering tours along the riverfront. It is the first new riverboat in the Gateway City since 1987. The replica 19th century paddle wheel joins the Tom Sawyer in the fleet of riverboats at the Gateway Arch. The boat was previously the Captain J.P. out of Fort Myers, Florida, and was purchased for just under $550,000. The new Becky Thatcher replaces the 1963 riverboat that previously carried the name. The new boat is about 30% larger than its predecessor. The U.S. Coast Guard oversaw the $3.2 million renovation, which improved its structural integrity, overhauled mechanical and electrical systems, and completely refurbished the interior. Over the next couple of weeks, the Becky Thatcher will complete the Coast Guard certifications and staff safety training before welcoming its first passengers. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hadaway announced a $17.1 billion settlement with Meta Platforms this morning. It becomes one of the largest state consumer protection settlements in history. Missouri joins dozens of other states in requiring Facebook and Instagram to place a hard cap on access for children under 18, nighttime blocks from 12 to 6 a.m., and robust age verification measures to more effectively verify the age of young users. Under the settlement, Missouri is set to receive between $100 and $150 million. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Costco is planning for a new store in Lake St. Louis. The retailer announced it has purchased land along the 4,000 block of Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's no word on an official opening date. This will mark Costco's 6th location in the St. Louis area. Let's get a check of the markets now, presented by JBL Financial. Tune in for Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturdays from 9 until 11 here on the Big 550. The Dow closed down 113 points at 53,463. S&P 500 down 1 at 76.75. And the NASDAQ down 21 at 26,130. Right now, let's head on over to the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk. That's where we find the good captain himself, Paul Kopsky. He's standing by. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Brendan. The SEC and Big Ten have announced that athletes having previously joined pro leagues are not eligible to return to college athletics. This also applies to underclassmen that removed their name from the draft process. And the Cardinals send Michael McGreevy to the mound tonight against the Orioles at Busch, looking to snap a 4-game losing skid. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. 270 south is heavy from Olive down to Manchester. 64 west crowded from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker. It's stop and go in the right lane at Lake St. Louis Boulevard and from Prospect to I-70. 64 east bogs down around 170. 370 west is running slow between St. Louis Mills and 141. 170 south is busy from Delmar down to 64. 44 west heavy from the Poplar Street Bridge to Tucker. 64 east is jammed between Illinois 157 and 159. And 5570 west slows down approaching Illinois 111. This traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. As we mentioned throughout the day, monitoring the chance for some showers and thunder showers in the Metro East, and they've been tough to find. Maybe a light shower right now trying to develop around the Grafton area. We go a little further east, Hillsborough, Illinois. You've got a heavier thunder shower right now, but that is it. Other than that, no rain anywhere in the metro area, and we'll continue to monitor to see if anything pops up. But if they do, very isolated showers and thunder showers. Otherwise, clear skies tonight, comfortable low of 68. Tomorrow, cooler than today, we'll have a high of 85. At 5:08, we've got partly cloudy skies and 90 degrees at Westport Plaza. For the Talk of St. Louis, I'm Brendan Wiese on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk about high school for just a moment, because that young man you brought home from the hospital yesterday, you're going to blink your eyes, and all of a sudden now you start talking about high schools. Well, that's where St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School comes in, because it's an all-boys, independent Catholic high school. And what St. Mary's will do is they will prepare your son to be the future. Whether it's college, trade work, or a career of their choice, St. Mary's, over the years, has produced a whole lot of millionaires and a couple of billionaires along the way. And when you graduate from St. Mary's, you have that alumni as a resource. Schedule your visit today and find out more about St. Mary's. stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com. They will teach the skills that are needed to thrive and survive in the 21st century, as well as teaching old school values. To find out more, stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com.
Mike Lippert here for Lisi Lumber Company. We're a family-owned company that's been serving quality building materials to this area since 1872. You've heard McGraw praise our knowledgeable staff, exceptional customer service, and the best of woods. In addition to our lumber yards, we operate 2 full-service hardware stores, and we're a proud supplier of Pella and Alliance windows. Beautiful American-made windows for your new home or remodel, designed specifically for the changing seasons in the metro area. For the best of woods and windows, call Lisi Lumber Company at 618-234-0105 or LisiLumber.com.
If you're from St. Louis, you likely have a Maggie O'Brien story. Maggie O'Brien's has become an iconic local hotspot for St. Louis sports, holiday parties, corporate and private events in downtown St. Louis for food and fun with distinctive Irish flair. Do check out their location in Sunset Hills. Maggie O's.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but Alaskans this November will have 2 individuals with the same name on the ballot. Ben Siegel, ABC News deputy political director in Washington, joins us with the latest. And this is kind of crazy. I mean, is it even spelled exactly the same way?
Different middle initials. We have Dan S. Sullivan, who is the sitting senator of Alaska, the Republican running for another term, and then Dan J. Sullivan, who is a retired teacher, also running as a Republican. We found out, according to the Associated Press, he will make the general election ballot the top 4 ballot that Alaska uses. So you will now have Dan Sullivan versus Dan Sullivan, versus a Democrat, and then another candidate who has yet to be determined.
I've heard a lot of talk that this is kind of to take votes away from the other and be very confusing on purpose. Is there any truth to that?
Well, we know that there's been a grand jury that's been convened in Alaska that has sent subpoenas out to the campaign of the insurgent Dan Sullivan, the retired teacher Dan J. Sullivan. We have not been able to reach him. He has not responded to our emails. We know the New York Times actually sent a reporter to Alaska to talk to him. He claims that he is a Republican, voted for Lisa Murkowski in the past, not a supporter of President Trump's, but he was fully intending to run on his own terms and was not encouraged to do so by Democrats. Obviously, Republicans are concerned about this because the thinnest of margins here could determine this race. If he siphons any votes away, and again, that will determine potentially control of the Senate next year.
And didn't I see that in the media in Alaska there was another Dan Sullivan throwing his support behind one of the other Dan Sullivans, and do we know who is who?
I can't tell you what this one's middle name is, but I know he's supporting the senator in the race. That was a bit of fun, but who knows? There may be another Dan Sullivan hiding somewhere in Alaska. We'll have to wait and see.
And nobody's related that we know of?
I'm sure if you go back far enough, we're all related, but I don't know in this case.
Okay.
Well, and then we have Senator Darlene Graham, a political newcomer who, of course, was appointed to the seat held by her late brother, won a special GOP primary runoff. Is this surprising?
Here's what's interesting about this race. President Trump got really invested in the result. He endorsed Graham's sister to serve out a full term in this race, despite her, lack of political record of any kind. She made a number of missteps, said she knew nothing about national security. There were some talk that Ralph Norman, the conservative far-right congressman who was facing her in the runoff yesterday, actually had momentum as the true conservative in the race. But then you saw President Trump fly down to Myrtle Beach. He held a rally in person. He told his supporters to pretend that he was on the ballot because in some ways his credibility was. And as his supporters showed up, what I find most interesting about this result, because it does really put Graham in a good chance to now serve a full Senate term in her late brother's seat, is that there were actually more people who turned out for yesterday's election, the runoff in a midterm primary, than the initial special election. And it's so rare for voters for turnout to go up like that. And if you actually look in Myrtle Beach, where President Trump had his rally, you did see a bump in turnout there, even in that race. So the Trump effect is real, at least as it relates to South Carolina and this primary. We'll see what happens in the country at large in November and the verdict delivered on the president's record so far. But he definitely helped Darlene Graham over the line in South Carolina.
Well, could the third time be a charm? Is there a Democrat in deep red South Carolina that can challenge her?
Well, Democrats are excited about Annie Andrews. She's a doctor who was running on, her record and also against some of the health policy of the Trump administration. But it's important to remember this is such a red state. There are just so few Democrats here. Now, perhaps there's some enthusiasm gaps here for Darlene Graham. It's hard to imagine the president will be back in South Carolina campaigning for her with such a big battleground. So it's the less interesting question is whether or not a Democrat can win in November. It's hard to see that happening even in a good environment. But how close does it look down the stretch? Because the bigger the battlefield is for control of the Senate, the more states that are considered in play, the larger the amount of resources will be for Republicans to spread out. So every dollar they spend defending candidates and senators in red states like South Carolina, red states like Texas, that's one more dollar that they can't spend in a place like Maine, which is a blue state with a red senator, or a place like North Carolina, where the former Democratic governor there is a popular Senate candidate. So even in places where Democrats or Republicans have really a puncher's chance, the larger they can make the battlefield for their party, the more difficult it becomes for the other party. So a very interesting race playing out there. Even if it stays close, regardless of the result, it could involve getting some resources involved that could be spent elsewhere.
And Ben, we're coming up on the end of August. I think I asked you this 3 weeks ago. Are we done with primary season?
some interesting races in 4 more states. New Hampshire, perennial battleground, has a Senate Republican primary there and also a Democratic primary in that Senate race. Both candidates facing challenges from the far right and the far left there. And in Massachusetts, the 80-year-old progressive Senator Ed Markey, he's getting a generational challenge from Seth Moulton, the moderate Democratic congressman. That'll be next Tuesday. So those are 2 of the races left, and then we'll be full steam ahead to November.
All right. Ben Siegel, ABC News Deputy Political Director. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Don't miss Ministry to Men's 31st Annual Businessmen's Prayer Breakfast of St. Charles County on Wednesday, September 9th from 7:30 to 9 a.m. at the St. Charles Convention Center. This year's featured speaker is the CEO of O'Reilly Auto Parts, Brad Beckham. Brad will share his experience of 3 decades worth of leading and what God has taught him through work, responsibility, and perseverance. Tickets are limited and can be purchased online at ministrytomen.com. That's ministrytomen.com.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. 1 great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
The 38th Midwest Salute to the Arts invites you to a 3-day outdoor arts festival at Moody Park in Fairview Heights, Illinois, August 28th through the 30th. Visitors can immerse themselves in a celebration of art, enjoy local food vendors, and a kids' creation station. Join us for new waves of contemporary outdoor sculpture exhibit in partnership with Art Village Fairview. For more information, visit MidwestSalute.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate Illinois.
Royal Banks of Missouri is proud to be your local business banking partner. Since 1964, our team has been committed to uplifting local business leaders and delivering expert guidance on their path to success. Discover how they can work with you to achieve your business goals, no matter how big or small. Call 314-212-1500 or visit royalbanksofmo.com. Commercial banking services. Royal Banks of Missouri, FDIC and equal housing lender.
Home loan rates are changing daily. If you're in the market for a new home, you may be able to get a better rate than you think. The First Community Members Best Loan is available for qualified borrowers for just 6.016 APR with a 30-year term. And while some loan rates are subject to change daily, the Members Best Home Loan is available right now at that rate. So check it out at firstcommunity.com or call toll-free 1-888-642-7969 for complete terms and conditions.
I trust Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis with my home when it matters most. They are the local experts who know our area best. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio to learn more. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Carney, Buck.
Jules, it's been a while since we've had a MERS Day.
I know. James Murray back at it with another book and a performance. He's coming to St. Louis in November.
Also, it's been 100 years since the Cardinals were in the World Series. Well, they've been in a couple since then. But 1926, they were in one. New book out about it. We'll talk to its author.
See you here right at noon.
John Carney, Julie Buck. Weekdays at noon on KTRS. The talk of St. Louis. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
I just saw a story where some of the flock cameras, the cameras that are recording the license plates, were shot down, but they actually captured the face, I guess, of who was shooting them down. But here's an interesting idea. I guess some private tech firms are rolling out a wave of new mobile apps that let regular citizens like you and me record traffic violations, double parking, blocking bike lanes, illegal dumping, and then you upload them directly to the city code enforcement. The hook is that driving people, crazy today. Would you, if you could get a little money for turning somebody in, would you do it?
I would only do it for dangerous things, not for the things listed there. I would not do that, but I would for, in particular, somebody roaring through a red light in an intersection. That it's quite frightening, actually.
It's very scary.
I would turn that person in without hesitation.
What are the crimes you could turn the petty things?
Petty things or anything, but they're saying, would you do it for a $25 bounty check in your mailbox?
But
we knew that answer, didn't we?
Litterers, people who throw things out of their car windows.
Infuriating.
I would turn them in any day for the maximum penalty.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I'd love to hear you guys' opinion. KTRS text line 84126, because we're all kind of up in arms about the flock cameras. This takes it, to me, a whole nother step that you don't know who's recording you and policing you. Or, do you think it is high-tech citizen policing versus community trust? What's your take on it?
Let me just ask this, as I admit I'm being overly dramatic, but is it okay for someone in Moscow to turn somebody in to the secret police because they aren't communist?
Yeah, that was they would turn people in so they could get a better parking spot. I had my neighbor arrested, so now I moved into their house, which was bigger than mine.
Right.
So I don't know if that's an option. I would be interested in exploring it.
Of course.
See, your consistency is what makes you a beautiful human being.
How far do we go with this? Are we turning in our neighbors out of spite?
That's exactly. Right. And for $25, would you turn on your neighbor for $25? I will say, parking in the city, and I went to get the RV this morning, and I pull up, and we have a pretty decent amount of footage in front of our house, and the neighbors on the other side of the street are parked in front of our house, so I had to leave the RV on the opposite side. Part of me would like to be able to say, look, it's not really our space. It's not marked for that. Right. It's kind of like a common knowledge thing. But again, I don't know that I would do it unless I'm kind of with you, Bob. If it is running a stop sign at a high rate of speed, but then what kind of can of worms does that open? And somebody on the text line says, as with all things, it would be abused. People would be turning in people that they have a vendetta against instead of really using it to help. I don't know.
Boy, is that human nature? Is that you open something up and eventually we will use it as a vendetta? Is that,
yes.
That's just who we
That's
are
us.
as a people. I think it would have to be incredibly egregious for me to turn someone in. But again, the litter bugs out there. People who literally throw bags of fast food trash out their window.
That's pretty nasty.
Which at this point, I thought we had all learned this in the 80s, if not the 90s and beyond. But I can't believe that someone would still do that. What is the mindset of someone that still throws their trash out?
That's maybe even the better point.
Mm-hmm. I think there are a lot of people that were never taught that. And I know that we go to school but teachers can only do so much. And the first way we learn is from our parents. I mean, do you hold the door open for somebody coming behind you? If mom and dad or, a great aunt didn't teach you that, you don't learn it. And that's a pretty simple one. But
all right. Well, 84126, would you turn your neighbors in? I'd be interested to find out. 314-931-5877 on the phones. In the meantime, I have 2 parking stories.
Mm-hmm.
There is a parking space in Park Slope. This is in Brooklyn. This isn't even in Manhattan.
Park Slope's a pretty cool neighborhood.
Very cool neighborhood, yeah. But it's not even in Manhattan. This is in Brooklyn.
This is in Brooklyn across the East River.
But still pretty expensive.
Yeah.
This is not, we're not talking about St. Louis here.
Would you pay for one parking spot $250,000 plus $400 a month for maintenance?
Where's the spot?
It is in Park Slope in a building.
But it's not at your residence.
No. It is not at your residence. It's not even in Manhattan.
I'd have somebody have to explain a circumstance where that made sense. Mm-hmm. And there probably is. Hey, I live here, but I got to do this. I can't park here. So there may be a circumstance, but it's hard for me to imagine.
If you're living there and you have the funds, if you already have a house and that is not, costing you more than you can afford, maybe.
I would imagine if you're rich enough to live in New York and can afford this, wouldn't the place that you live at already have parking for you?
Well, it depends.
Yeah, if you you don't buy a condo for $10 million and then not get a parking spot.
A lot of people don't have cars. That's not so all of a sudden then, let's say you inherit a car from somebody or a lot of people.
The listing says, listen to this, $250,000 plus $400 a month for maintenance. This is a parking spot, not a condo. So they had to point out specifically, this is just the parking spot.
I'd have to live in the car.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what people face a lot there. I mean, I've had a couple friends go to New York to work and didn't take a car and are living in a space that is tinier than the RV.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite reviews of Seinfeld when it was ending, Entertainment Weekly had a whole issue devoted to every episode of Seinfeld, and they said, a strange show about New Yorkers who regularly drive, which...
Right.
They, Kramer had a car.
But
George had a car. Jerry had a car.
Elaine
did not. I think you would find that the opposite. 1 in 4 person.
1 in 4. I don't know if that's true or not.
Have a car in Manhattan. But speaking of parking spaces, we talked about this, but it's really happening. Malls charging for parking.
Mm.
Oh.
No, you know what? That's the dumbest thing ever because people aren't even going to malls.
Let's push them further away.
Yeah,
Malls in Wayne, New Jersey, Los Angeles, Louisville, Kentucky, and Columbia, Maryland are charging $2.45 for the first hour and $2 for every hour after that. It's not every space, but it's the preferred space, the 119 closest spots to the mall.
Yeah, of course.
For parking. Would you pay $2 to $5 extra bucks?
I might.
To park closer?
To park closer.
If I've got a big purchase that it's going to be tough to carry out?
Or if it's holidays.
Yeah.
And the only spaces are a mile away. I might.
For $2.
That doesn't seem outrageous.
Because you're probably going to go get a coffee at Starbucks. It's going to be 3 times that.
Yeah.
Well, you guys just talked yourselves into paying for parking.
But you say I'm not paying for parking if it is a mile away. If I'm walking from the back part of it if every single spot at the parking garage in the parking for the
just the
mall.
preferred spaces.
Yeah, preferred spaces, that's okay by me.
And honestly, the only one of us three who's actually had to pay to park at work is Heidi.
Mm-hmm.
I never have, thank goodness.
Yeah. When you worked at Channel 5.
For all of those years. Somebody said, how about when you book a hotel and then they charge you for parking above and beyond the room rate?
It's
$40 a day.
Yeah, like Chicago. So, yeah. 532, Captain Paul is in the John Bill Roofing Traffic Center. How's traffic moving?
Heidi, we are accident-free, but 270 South is heavy from Olive down to Manchester. 64 West is crowded from Kings Highway to McCausland, and it's stop and go from Prospect to I-70. 64 East bogs down from 170 to Big Bend. 370 West is running slow between St. Louis Mills and 141. 170 South is busy from Delmar down to 64. And 64 East in Illinois is jammed between 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, there are so many great companies in our area. I love the mom and pops, the small companies, the family-owned businesses. That's who I really try to do business with. And that's why I want to tell you about Window Depot USA of St. Louis, where they do things right. They combine integrity and focus on helping the community, which, I mean, how can you not love a company that is all about the community? And then they have local service that you can trust. And what's great is Window Depot has this national buying power, but that means that they pass on the savings to you. So you can get triple pane performance at double pane pricing. And right now, in honor or to celebrate America's 250th birthday, Window Depot is offering you a great deal, $250 off each window and door with a qualifying purchase. So many companies don't want to do 1 or 2 window jobs. Window Depot will take on any job you have. If you have a window in the backyard that your son and daughter were out playing pitch and catch and maybe one got away from them and the window, got destroyed, Window Depot will come out and take care of that window. If you have an entire house that needs new windows, Window Depot will come out and take care of that. And they also do what they call the 5-star blue carpet treatment. So they place blue runners on the floors and carpets. They use drop cloths wherever is needed. They actually vacuum, not just sweep stuff up or move it over to the other side. They vacuum when the job is done, and then they clean the windows, leaving a bottle of Window Depot glass cleaner behind, offering free refills for life, by the way, and then, of course, their rags. So your windows always look like new. You can call 636-939-4800 to learn more about that great deal, saving $250 off each window, or you can go online to windowdepotstl.com.
Tune in Mondays to the Frank and Jill Show for Success St. Louis Style as they feature a St. Louisan making a difference in our community. Brought to you by the St. Louis Chess Club. Building champions in the classroom and the community. Online at stlouischessclub.org.
One of the great stories about Lordo's Diamonds is when the longtime boyfriend gets down on his knee and asks for his longtime girlfriend's hand in marriage. And she says, "Is that ring from Lordo's?" Only when the boyfriend says, yes, it is, does she accept his hand in marriage. True story. And that's because Lordo's Diamonds is one of those family jewelers. She wanted the ring from Lordo's because that's where her grandparents got the ring. And she wanted to go down that same road. That's what you get with a family jeweler. Lordo's Diamonds, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, and yes, the big one, the engagement ring, all from Lordo's Diamonds. When you are ready, right there in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road, Lordo's Diamonds will be there. The jewelry store from the mall is long gone. You're not going to get something at Amazon. And the guy in a trench coat is long gone. Your family jeweler for generations, Lordo's Diamonds, or LordosDiamonds.com.
Hello, everyone. This is Zipper Zeppa. The Mater Media Speaker Series is upon us. Coming up in September, John O'Leary, Bill O'Reilly, Dr. Ira DeWitt, Eric Jenis, Leo Severino, and Cardinal Timothy Dolan, live and in person in St. Louis. Get your tickets. Here's a special deal, 25% off for KTRS listeners. Go to matermedia.org/KTRS. That's matermedia.org/KTRS.
The official birthplace of the toasted ravioli is
Mama's on the Hill.
And Mama's on the Hill serves the best in town. Mama's has been a mainstay on the Hill for decades and is still a family-run restaurant serving up great Italian food in a fun atmosphere. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, and right in the heart of the Hill at Edwards and Bischoff. Delicious catering and party rooms too.
Mama's on the Hill.
Make reservations at 314-776-3100 and 24/7 at mamasonthehill.com.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. The one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Ambassador Pro. We keep the flooring supplies contractors need in stock and ready to go at competitive contractor pricing. From flooring and installation materials to adhesives, tools, transitions, and more. Get what you need when you need it and get back to the job. Save time, get contractor pricing, keep your projects moving. Visit our pro desk at our Ambassador Midwest Floor Chesterfield Valley location or call 636-224-7600. Experience more with Ambassador Pro, built for contractors.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550. KTRS.
A couple people have pointed out on the text line, Plaza Frontenac is charging to park in the garage in the parking lot. Just saw it over the weekend. So we had Charlie on the line, and we were talking about trash and litter. Charlie, what's on your mind?
Well, we started 59 years ago with Operation Clean Stream.
Oh, you guys do a great job.
Terrific.
And it's still on.
Yeah.
There's still people throw stuff in the rivers, tires. It's people don't understand what it's all about. They've been brought up with it. People have been brought up. People have been told. They just don't care.
That's true.
That's the whole reason why we have what we have today, because people don't care.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you guys have pulled out of there?
Oh, they pulled out ice pop meth labs. They pulled out.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, out of the Merrimack River, they pull everything out of that river.
Yeah. Well,
it's pathetic. I mean, people are just. I don't know what to say.
I know, it's so frustrating. I'm sure you guys always need volunteers. When do you clean it up again?
Next year we'll have another big cleanup.
All right.
Good.
Well, maybe we'll have you on. You can tell us all about it beforehand so we can get as many volunteers out there as possible.
It sounds beautiful.
All right.
Operation Clean Stream, OpenSpaceSTL.org. OpenSpaceSTL.org.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, Charlie, and thanks for
Charlie.
calling in and doing great work.
You too, and have a very safe day.
Thank you.
I didn't know this group existed, but I can
That's
only
the
imagine.
third thing that you've learned today.
What a great day
maybe,
for Joshy.
Yeah,
Learned
maybe
a lot
4.
today. Well, I'll tell you something I already knew. Like Charlie's like, hey, that looks like a meth lab that we just pulled out. What I know is taxes.
Well, you don't know.
I don't know taxes,
No.
but I know someone who does.
Okay, that's That is true.
Jeff Zufall, and he can do your taxes. He does mine. He does Heidi's. He's going to look at Bob's. He does Carney's. He does Julie. He's doing everybody's taxes now. He does our family's taxes now. He's our personal tax advisor. Plus, he's also a wealth advisor. And having your wealth person and your tax person be the same person is insanely beneficial. Because how many times does Jeff see someone's taxes and they say, "You did these wrong. Why do I owe $5,000?" He'll point and say, "Remember that money move you made in August? Well, your wealth advisor didn't tell you the tax hit you were going to get on that." So he can tell you, "Hey, this is a good idea and expect a tax hit here in April." Or if this is what you really want to do, there's a better way of doing it and you can save money on your taxes. That's what it's all about. Keeping what's yours. It's the name of the show on the weekends, Saturdays at 3. It's the name of Jeff's book. And it's the name of the lifestyle that we try to live, keeping more of our money. Capital Advisory Group is where to go, capitaladvisorygrp.com, and you can call them 636-394-5524.
Lionel Richie, live in concert. Playing at the Muni, Saturday, August 29th. Get tickets now at metrotix.com.
Summer isn't over until you've experienced the 2026 DuQuoin State Fair. Join the fun August 28th through September 7th in DuQuoin, Illinois, with free gate admission every day. Enjoy thrilling carnival rides, mouth-watering fair food, livestock shows, family attractions, and incredible grandstand entertainment. Featuring stars like Wiz Khalifa, Tyler Hubbard, Night Ranger, Russell Dickerson, and more. Make memories the whole family will love. See the full entertainment lineup and plan your visit today at dsf.illinois.gov. That's the 2026 DuQuoin State Fair, where Illinois comes together.
Think you waited a little too long to book that vacation? Well, think again. At AAA Travel, they're helping travelers find last-minute escapes every single day. Whether you're looking for a quick beach getaway, a cruise, or a family trip before the season slips away, their travel advisors can help make it happen. Don't let another vacation opportunity pass you by. Visit your local AAA office today or visit them online at AAA.com/travel. That's AAA.com/travel. At AAA, we make traveling easy.
Hey, it's John Carney. I'm up on your roof. Look around. Looks like it needs some work up here. I think we can take care of it. Actually, it wasn't really on your roof. That's the magic of radio. But you know what? Somebody trying to fool you about what's wrong with your roof isn't a joke, and it happens all the time. Have you gotten that call? Hey, we're in the neighborhood, and we're doing some roofing work, so we'd be glad to give you a discount since we're already here. Don't fall for it. Go with the company that's been doing a great job for people and not pretending that something's really wrong when it isn't, or alerting you to something that is wrong that you may not have caught. They send drones up to your roof, zoom in on certain areas, so you can get the diagnosis before anybody does anything, and most importantly, costs you anything. That's why they're still around and still do an amazing job. And no, I'm not up on your roof. That's Allen Roofing, the name to know, the name to trust. Online at aroofing.net.
Your retirement isn't just numbers on a statement. It's your family, your time, and your future. Listen to the Financial Safari with Greg Belger. Sundays at 5 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk a little entertainment news. Yesterday, it was Dolly. Today, we learned that Tim Curry, known for his roles in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Stephen King's It, has died. He, too, was 80 years old. He suffered a stroke in 2012 that put him in a wheelchair. He died today at his home in Los Angeles. No cause of death was disclosed. We now know that Dolly died after a brief battle with cancer. Her rep said she bravely faced a brief battle with cancer and passed at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center in Nashville, surrounded by loved ones. It's not clear what type of cancer she had. And by the way, of an old interview, have you guys seen this? Josh, were you able to find it? Jimmy Fallon?
I was not.
Okay. She's on with Jimmy Fallon, and in it, Dolly says she has a secret song that won't be released until her 100th birthday in 2046. It's called My Place in History. It was written to be her last. It's currently locked in a wooden Dreambox time capsule at Dollywood's Dreammore Resort. Now, in the interview, which is really, really cute, she says, I really wish I wouldn't have done it because it is a great song. And I've asked them a couple of times if I can pull it up and have it played. And everybody goes, this is what you wanted. Nope, it is.
Wow.
It is there. So we will have that song with us in 20 more years.
Okay.
Isn't that great? Yeah. You know, Dolly had an impact on so many artists. And Bob, you were going through a couple of them yesterday.
Amazing.
From every genre. Eminem shared a heartfelt letter Dolly sent him 4 years ago, despite never meeting her. He said, even for a kid who mostly listened to rap music, she was an icon, a superstar in every sense. He went on to say her letter really had an impact on me. She definitely didn't have to take the time to do it. I guess she sent him a letter after he went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I read it. It was beautiful. And I saw a thing from Chris Isaac today. Yeah. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one. What did he say?
He related a story that he had heard to her. They were at some event and backstage that when Porter Wagoner, sort of her mentor partner early on, was on Hard Times, asked her to buy his music or was selling his music. He needed the money. She bought it years later, came to her and said, would you sell it back to me? She said no and gave it back to him.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, just incredible in every way. Glenn Powell revealed the names of a few country stars who will make an appearance in his upcoming country music movie, The Comeback King. It'll star Jelly Roll, Miranda Lambert, Brad Paisley. He let it slip on Jimmy Kimmel Live where Jelly was the guest host. It was supposed to kind of be a secret.
Yeah, Jelly Roll's guest hosting.
Yes, this week.
Yeah.
He's had guest hosts. It was Rosie O'Donnell last week. I forget who it was before that, but they're kind of fun shows. Glenn Close defended her All's Fair co-star Kim Kardashian against a hater. She replied to a rude comment and said, quote, I want you to know she is kind, funny, steady, smart, a powerhouse of a woman, and a mother. I love when stars kind of go to bat for other stars. Let's do a couple birthdays.
All right, let's start. I think I got a little trick going on here. This is going to be a good one. We'll see how you guys react.
Okay.
He did a nice job playing Captain Kirk, James T. Kirk, in the Star Trek movies. He played Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman's love interest in Wonder Woman. Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
45 today.
I was going to lean that way. I'm going to say 46.
Bang, got it.
Yeah.
46. Okay, here's an actor who's had his ups and downs, was a terrific child actor, Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, interesting. Is he also 46?
Are you cheating?
No, because I know he's
around your age.
A year older than me.
He got you on that
46.
one. So
I mean, I didn't even get to play.
No, so we're dead even.
Yeah.
And so now
Here
it comes down to, I don't know what Josh thinks about her. You and I are big fans. Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, she's so fantastic.
She's great. How could you not? I kind of look like her husband. If you look up her husband, his name's Ben Falcone.
I'm not, we're both married and have children and everything. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Sure.
You're much better looking.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to say she is 52.
55.
A slight win for Josh. She's 56 today.
She is?
56.
Wow. By the way, there's a lot of Dolly on TV tonight. CBS is airing an hour-long special at 9. Dolly Parton, American Icon, is on CBS. You got Dolly Parton, American Original on Disney+.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Looking for a new kitchen or bath? Call me, Anne-Marie Boges, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer at Anne-Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help make your dream space into a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. We do it all, from design to bid to installation too. Call us today at 636-821-3395 or go online at annemariestudio.com. Let's make your dream kitchen or bath a reality with Anne-Marie Design Studio.
As summer winds down, vacations come to an end, the kids head back to school, and schedules ramp up, let Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant do the cooking for you. So whether it's the start of a busy day, come grab a great breakfast, the best in St. Louis according to the Post-Dispatch, or wrapping things up after a long day, let Gingham's serve you a terrific home-style dinner. And don't forget our fabulous desserts. We're open 24 hours a day, so no matter when you need us, Gingham's is open and ready to serve you. Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant in St. Charles, 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
My college roommate said to me recently, everyone needs a good electrician on speed dial. And you know what? He's right. Ever since Michael Baldy has started advertising on the show, you know what? He's been out to the house 4, 5, 6 different times to fix all sorts of things. Good thing I got Michael Baldy on speed dial, because those things are a hazard. And it's one thing, you know how much I like to pretend to think that I'm a home improvement guy. I'll mess with plumbing and I'll mess with woodworking, but there's something I won't mess with, and that's electricity. It's too dangerous. It's too confusing, quite frankly. I know how to plug in a light bulb, but after that, it's baldyelectric.com. So for all of your electrical needs, residential, commercial, indoor, outdoor, TVs, computers, technology, baldyelectric.com. It's the place to go. You need a good electrician on speed dial. That's Michael Baldy, or baldyelectric.com.
7 minutes before 6 o'clock, let's get one final check of traffic with Captain Paul in the John Bill Roofing Traffic Center.
Heidi, no accidents, but 270 south is heavy from 64 down to Manchester. 64 west is slow from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker and from Prospect to I-70. 64 east bogs down from McKnight to Big Bend. 170 south is busy from Forest Park Parkway down to 64. 64 east jam between Illinois 157 and 159. And 5570 west is heavy approaching Illinois 111. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
I trust Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis to help improve my home when it matters most. It's not just Pella's high-quality windows and doors. It's the local experts who know the St. Louis area so well. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects or 0% no payments, no interest if paid in full within 24 months. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio to learn more. 833-87-PELLA or Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
The Big 550 KTRS is live, local, and so are you, which is why you should shop local. Your money stays local, creating jobs that are local, local customers in local stores. Triad Bank is also local, a big part of the St. Louis community, and has teamed up with KTRS to present Shop Local Business Salutes throughout the day. After all, we live here too. Listen for Shop Local Business Salutes, sponsored by Triad Bank. Your business, your family, your bank. And the Big 550 KTRS, live and local.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnard has been serving your boating needs for 40 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's wrap this show up with a couple randoms.
Blockbuster Video made $800 million in late fees in the year 2000.
$800 million?
$800 million.
Oh, my.
And that was
Whoa.
16% of its revenue just on late fees.
That is crazy.
This goes on to say Netflix at the same time was having you pay a monthly fee and you could keep the discs as long as you want, the DVDs or the tapes or whatever. So it's kind of almost a wonder how Blockbuster went out of business when everything has just changed. $800 million.
That is mind-blowing, actually.
On late fees. And then 70% of the world's macadamia nuts can be traced back to a single tree in Australia.
No.
That's crazy, too. Those are two good ones. All right, Bob, you're off to your other job tomorrow. Best of luck. Josh and I'll be here holding the fort down on this Thursday afternoon. Hopefully you'll join us at 3 o'clock. And until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right. It's all right. Bet your money all you like.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Appliance Discounters is a place you need to know about because if you're looking for an appliance, Appliance Discounters is the place to go. They're the #1 appliance store in St. Louis with 5 beautiful showrooms. When you buy an in-stock appliance from Appliance Discounters, they can deliver it to you the next day. How in the world can Appliance Discounters do this? Well, they have a 50,000 square foot warehouse filled with appliances ready for delivery. Name brand, factory warranties, and factory rebates. And don't worry about paying more if you're in a hurry. Right now at Appliance Discounters, they're offering an additional 5% off their everyday low prices. Appliance Discounters is your locally owned hometown appliance store. 12 months interest-free financing. Use their money, not yours. Huge factory rebates in addition to their everyday low prices. Why in the world would you go anywhere else? Appliance Discounters open Monday through Saturday, never on Sundays. Shop online 24/7, theappliancediscounters.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Cozy season is ahead, and you'll be spending way more time inside. Is your home ready? Don't worry. With Wayfair, you can upgrade your space without breaking the bank. Score up to 70% off during their Labor Day clearance on furniture, area rugs, mattresses, and more. Plus, surprise flash deals you can't miss. Whether it's one room or the whole house, Wayfair has pieces for every style and budget.
Shop Wayfair's Labor Day clearance now through September 7th at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Tragedy in Nepal. Local officials say at least 160 people are dead, hundreds are missing, including dozens of American tourists after flash floods ripped through the Nepal-Tibet border. ABC's Tom Sophie Borage has more from London.
Multiple regions of Nepal are impacted. The destruction, I think, is impossible to quantify at this point in time. Multiple rivers flooded, a huge search and rescue operation now underway. But I think it's important to point out that reaching the affected areas will be complex. And not only is it mountainous terrain, but of course the roads and the bridges are very much impacted in that area. One report I read earlier today said 19 bridges in the region are damaged.
It's believed that all that water came from a section of a massive glacier that collapsed. Facebook and Instagram's parent company Meta will pay roughly $18 billion to settle a lawsuit accusing the company of deliberately designing its platforms to be addictive to young users. New Jersey among the states involved. State Attorney General Jennifer Davenport.
One of the important pieces of our of this settlement agreement, assuming the court adopts it, is that there is that ongoing monitoring and audit feature that we have as states to make sure that we're holding them accountable and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Meta did not admit wrongdoing. Law enforcement in Montana investigating a mass shooting outside of Billings last weekend. A man fatally shooting 8 of his relatives, including 4 children, as they gathered for a Sunday dinner. A fire burning the house down to the foundation. Yellowstone County Sheriff Kent O'Donnell.
This is a tragic loss. I keep using the word tragic this week, but I don't think tragic is a strong enough word for this. It's worse than that.
A man whose ex-wife and 2 children were among the dead says the shooter was 44-year-old Alan Smith, who shot himself to death. The BBC is reporting that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have arrived back in the UK today. The Sussex's team is not commenting. You're listening to ABC News.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text SPARK to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPARK to 215-215. That's SPARK to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Good evening, I'm Brendan Weesey, and here's the latest from the KTRS newsroom. A missing Missouri Deputy Attorney General has been found after going missing for several days in the mountains of Wyoming. Sean McElprang went out on a solo hike last Thursday, making his way towards Gannett Peak, the highest mountaintop in Wyoming. He hadn't been seen or heard from since. Our partners at First Alert 4 report that he's been found alive and conscious, but very weak. The full extent of his injuries are not yet known. McElprang has worked at the Missouri Attorney General's office for the last 28 years. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. The Illinois Housing Development Authority has opened 3 senior affordable developments across the state, including one in the Metro East. North Bend Residences opened on August 3rd in Fairview Heights, the first affordable housing development IHDA has funded in the city. The 60-unit community for seniors 62 and older is comprised of single-family homes, attached duplexes, and 20-unit apartment buildings with rents starting at $644. The other developments went up in Hillside and Champaign, Illinois. Let's get a look at the markets now, presented by JBL Financial. Tune in for Straight Talk on Retirement Saturdays from 9 until 11 here on the Big 550. Dow closed down 113.